2, 1.
Welcome back to another episode of BopCast. Today on the show, I have my guy Sean Nastelon. How you been, brother?
Good, bro. How are you?
I'm good, man. Just living. It's I feel like you're gonna be one of those guests where we just kind of like pick up where we left off, man. We just kind of schedule it out and let it rip.
Absolutely ready to get started, bro. Appreciate you guys having me back again.
Anytime, man. And great response from the first one. It was really enjoyable for me to dive into these kind of various aspects that I was really exposed to the kind of, like the bro culture of lifting and not really the science as much, and not the health and the actual dieting and all that stuff. It's so easy to get caught up in like the training or these various aspects, but not really like dive in and be like, well, this is really what sugar's doing to you and all these kind of nuances. So I really appreciated you coming up and being able to talk about that.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's still to this day what kind of separates me from a lot of other fitness trainers and nutritionists. They're gonna touch the very top layer, whereas I like to take a deep dive and really just unfold like the whole onion. You know what I mean? Peel back all the layers to what training is kind of all about, what nutrition is all about, and why we should do the things that we're doing. You know what I mean? Just educate the person, so puts these ideas in their head, so they're drawing correlations to kind of their habits that they're doing on a daily basis.
Yeah, and trying to be like as objective as possible, because like at the end of the day, the honest truth is that you are putting your opinion, like people are hiring you for your opinion, really,
Right.
So it's hard to be like, it's not like any trainer's 100% objective. It's actually impossible. Like
Right.
it's the point is that you are subjective to the point where you develop a program that's right for them, and you have to be subjective about that because you're dealing with one subject.
Right.
So I think that, but I appreciate that, and I get that from you. And I was mentioning off camera that I had a friend of mine, Jack Singleton, on, who's a bodybuilder, and I had him listen to your episode because I'm like, hey, you gotta listen to this episode. He studies drug development, and he's very, I think it's classic physique that he competes in or something like that. But it was a good episode. I disagree with a lot of what Sean said, and like in certain various aspects. So I would love to have both you guys on, maybe if you'd be open to it.
Absolutely.
At the same time. I would be, and he wasn't disagreeing and like he was angry or anything. Like
Right.
For sure, like he has his side, you have your side, and then we kind of can find a middle ground. And I feel like that would be an exciting first podcast, as like not necessarily a debate, but having multiple sides of the spectrum, and then I can almost moderate.
Absolutely. We're grown-ups. We can have a normal discussion. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
There's definitely truth and evidence and research-based evidence to both sides, I'm sure.
100%.
It's my like idea or belief, in a sense, that like a lot of the meat eaters, there's a lot of profit behind that.
Yeah.
So it's my kind of belief that the government is always going to kind of, because there's tons of scientific evidence about being vegan, et cetera, and longevity, et cetera. It also depends what your goals are. You know what I mean? I'm not going to lie to you. If you want to bulk up and put on a lot of muscle, meat and eating a certain diet that I kind of disagree with is going to help you in the short term. But I'm all about the longevity approach. I want to live as long as possible and to the most optimal manner that I possibly can.
Yeah, and I think what we'll do, Tret, is maybe we'll like have a screen. Maybe you'll like sit there. We'll have like a screen or something, so we can like pull. We'll all have like studies beforehand and like whatever. We'll be
really come
prepared for
prepared.
it, and we'll be able to like pull stuff up and
absolutely
have like an honest discussion and actually be able to look at. All right, let's take a look at this study. And yeah, I mean it's one of those things where there's so much, like it's the same thing as what's happening today in various facets, but you can find anything you want and you can ignore anything you want.
Absolutely.
So you don't have to acknowledge the things that go against your point,
Right.
and you can just cherry pick. It's just, that's easy.
Yeah. No, absolutely.
It's kind of scary though.
It is. It's definitely scary. You want to some extent research what you're doing. You don't want to just like that sounds good, let me just implement this into my own lifestyle. Oh, it's working. But you want to know both sides to it. What are some of the drawbacks of this? So even myself, when like I started to research a lot about just being vegan and whatnot, you kind of learn where people are going wrong. They're missing a lot of vitamins and minerals, so they're micronutrients, things like that. So you want to make sure that you're eating those plant compounds to make sure that you're getting everything that the human body needs. And that's like my whole approach to it. So
It's not an emotional, like, as much as an. It's not it's not the emotional, like, killing animals part that makes you.
It started to be this way, though.
It started like that, or it
started
like
to
that
be this way
more
because
so now. Okay.
I started, I guess, over time, I'm liking vegan posts on Instagram, and it changed my algorithm. So now I'm seeing all these different vegans post videos.
IG is just like, we know what you want.
Yeah. You know what I mean? It literally, like, so they changed these algorithms. So now I'm seeing these, like, cows being tortured, these pigs being tortured, these chickens being tortured. And I'm just so sympathetic. Like, we were talking before, we got on here. And with my dog, they put him, like, they give him anesthetics, put him to sleep in front of me. I started tearing up. I was just, like, couldn't control it. I was just, oh, my God, this being, he doesn't know what's going on. Like, I felt so badly for him. Yeah. So I'm seeing these animals get, like, tortured and just, like, killed for no reason. I'm thinking in my head, like, we can get everything we need from plants. Why should this living being be subjected to so much torture just for greed, for gluttony, for just profit? It's just, to me, I think it's not fair. These animals can't speak up for themselves. You know what I mean? I know I'm getting, like, into, like, a super, like,
you're good.
Yeah, but like that's how I'm kind of thinking. Like, we can get everything that we need from plants. Why do we have to kill something to?
I think we all, like, I think even hardcore, in my opinion, the most hardcore meat eaters that I've experienced are all, like, more on the kind of hunting or sustainable farming, more on that side of things,
I think sustainable farming is a fad, bro. What humane way is there to really kill an animal?
Okay, so but
it's going to be mass farming regardless.
So let me just raise a point. You see a lot of videos of cows getting killed and pigs like slaughtered, like in a quote unquote, like in what you would call an inhumane way, correct?
Absolutely, but they're also living their entire life under this immense stress. And what are we eating? That immense stress that's being passed on to us. Like in Judaism, like we say you're not supposed to eat a pig because it's dirty, because it is not that you become that pig. The food becomes you. You know what I mean? So it's like...
well, that's just another element, though. That
it is. But, essentially, you are what you eat.
Well, that's true. I
mean?
agree with that.
If you're going to eat something that's super stressed out, it's going to release all these stress hormones, etc. Where do you think that goes?
Yes.
We're consuming that. So
my point was that you can see, and it's everywhere. If you, like you said, if you post the algorithm, we'll give it to you. Mm-hmm. You will see all of these animals in full distress, like the worst of the worst. Mm-hmm. What you don't see is farmers that grow vegetables that hire people to kill every animal that steps foot on that property. If you saw the same videos of that every day, you'd feel the same way about the plants that you're eating. And I'm not saying that you eating a plant kills an animal.
Right.
People that grow plants kill animals. So, and that's just a fact. But so that's what I'm saying. I'm not pushing back against either of our arguments.
Right.
I'm saying that whatever you're exposed to, that's going to really paint your view. And the fact of the matter is that if you eat plants, you kill animals. It's indirect.
Yes.
But plant. Do you know who eats plants? Animals.
Yeah.
So that's why where we started is like that sort of objectivity is really looking at like, okay, how many? I mean, dude, the semi truck that brings your plants to the store kills so many, deer, and then the machines that they use for farming. I mean, we have a ton of farms out here. You see them all the time. Ground nesting birds, any ground nesting animals are done, dude. They're destroyed. Like millions and millions a year. Birds, they're killing birds because the birds are killing the animals. Like, it is crazy the amount of animals that are killed to make plants. So it's just kind of what you're exposed to,
Right.
And I literally agree with both sides. It's just the fact that nobody has videos of that.
Right. No, you're so right. There's actually like a really disturbing fact. I think it's like for avocados. Like, I think it's beavers. I could be wrong. It's some animal, but like hundreds of thousands of them are killed just to grow avocado. Yeah. And I think about that, and like me and like this girl, she's vegan as well. We were kind of like, this is crazy. Like, you really can't get away from it.
And that's the thing. Is like, I actually was dating a vegan years ago, and every time we would hang out, we would always like have an argument. Like, it wasn't going to work. It never didn't work out between us. Different ideologies. But she was eating Tostitos chips, and I said, because I was an asshole in those days, and you guys know where this is going. Yeah. So I said, let's look up every ingredient and see where it really comes from. And she was like, "Why are you doing this? Like, what are you?" And I'm like, "Hey, if you want to push this on me, let's see if you're really a vegan."
Right.
Right. people only go as far as they need to go. If the thing says organic, it's fucking organic.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? People do that, and I don't think I'm saying her opinions are wrong. I just know that I'm accepting of the fact that these Tostitos, there was a fucking animal killed somewhere. There's no way.
Right.
It's so nobody can say like the way that I eat is zero animal. It's like, if you grow everything and you have security cameras on your property, then maybe. But dude, a hawk is gonna kill a smaller bird on your property because that bird is attracted to those plants. That's an animal being killed. It's like, dude, that's where that kind of comes in for me. I'm like, I'm trying not to be an asshole, but for sure, it's gonna happen. It's inevitable.
Yeah.
And what I'm not trying to normalize it, but shit, it's fucking normal.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah. Animal and an animal that dies in the wild, dude, if you watch Nature's Metal, that is all you have to watch.
Right.
And obviously that's cherry picked as well.
Right.
Even if you go, dude, there's fucking deer around here that get hit by a car and they're, that's a whole nother thing. But even animals that are dying naturally, it's not they don't just go to sleep most of the time, dude. I'm not
gonna sit here and say like a natural animal like that brings me grief. That's like that's life. That's nature. Yeah. But I think growing plants is a little bit more humane. Maybe not them shooting, like the beavers or whatever trying to get the plants. Obviously not that, but a slaughterhouse where, you know what I mean? Like that's just, I don't know.
Dude, and it's crazy. And dude, I fully agree. Factory farming is super fucked.
Terrible.
I don't know how to get out of it. This is the problem that I've brought up multiple times, which is and the solution. Why is it beef? Well, it's called, it's calories to labor ratio. It's you get more calories. You have to spend way less money and way less resources to get way more calories from one animal, and you only have to deal with one animal.
Right.
That's why there is factory farming.
Right.
Because they would have, grown plants if it was more sustainable for their businesses. It wasn't. Right. So that's the thing. You can just get way more calories out of a massive cow than you can out of growing any plant. Right. So that's really why as well. It's like,
and there's actually like functional nutritionists and different scientists who I've actually like been researching as well lately who say like after 50 years old, like you actually need like meat protein or just like it's almost like an unrealistic amount of plants to kind of, which I don't know if I necessarily agree with that, but like we were saying before, there's kind of like arguments for both sides. And listen, I'm never gonna tell somebody like, yo, you're a piece of shit for eating meat. Like I'm not like that. But it's just my, just subjective approach at just eating food in general. I just like to educate people or, share my opinion. And you know what I mean? If it changes somebody's life and, it helps them kill less animals or eat less animals, like from a slaughterhouse, I feel a little better about it.
Yeah, no, and I agree too. Like I'm in full agreement that I don't agree with it. I wish that there was I wish anybody saw a way out, and I'm not sure anybody does, but and this has been a great first conversation. I'd like to kind of set a little context here, which is there's a 2-hour interview that we did. It's on Spotify, Apple, all that stuff. If people who are listening now want context on your story, but so to kind of not to pick up where we left off, but to pick up somewhere in the story, and I kind of maybe to refresh my memory as well, did the diet and training kind of happen all at the same time? It was more the training, right? Because I'm trying to go back to when it was the diet, right? Because you had a like you were sick.
I had like the ACL surgery. That's what first prompted me. Really, it was just like even always as a kid growing up, I just like soda. I just remember as a kid like just learning soda is so bad for you, and candy like gave me all these cavities. I'm like, okay, like why is the things that I'm eating poisoning me and making me sick and making me like just not feel well? Gave up soda, etc. So I've always been like super health conscious. The vegan stuff started after college, honestly, only a few years ago. And that's just because it all kind of led me. But 14 years old, had the ACL surgery, laying in bed, I'm thinking, how else can I get better other than, just physical therapy? I started realizing anti-inflammatory foods, etc. Anything that causes inflammation, promotes disease and injury throughout the body. A lot of meat, dairy, gluten, all that stuff will leave inflammatory markers in your body. Even if you kill an animal, hunt an animal and kill it, you'll have less inflammatory markers, but you'll still have some. But again, you can counteract these measures by eating a lot of greens. So, I always recommend to people have like a shot of wheatgrass before you eat any meat. But yeah, that's really how it started. Just I've always been a workout fanatic, actually. You know, when I was younger, my father bought me a pull-up bar every day, bro. 10 sets, 25 push-ups, 10 pull-ups, 25 sit-ups every day. My goal was to have abs without flexing. Like, that was just me as a kid. Like, I just wanted to have the sickest abs. And
did you see anybody? Sorry to jump in there, but like, did you see like a poster of Arnold or something, or like what was the physique that you just wanted it for you? Like, there was no like, oh, I looked up to this person, I wanted their abs or whatever, you know, because that's honestly a lot of times how people start. They see somebody else that's jacked and they're like, I want to be jacked.
I just looked up to 50 Cent as a kid.
Dude, great role, dude, fantastic,
unbelievable role model. Yeah, dude, I've read all his books. I've read I've listened to all his CDs. I've had his clothes. I've had his video game. I forget what it was called. That was the best video game. I just remember my mother got me a CD and she was like, just promise me you won't use these curse words. I'm like, of course not. And like, I just always started cursing. There's like a funny story. Like, I remember when I first moved to the town of Caldwell, it was like in late elementary school. Kids literally wouldn't let me play like wall ball with them or just like hang out with them because like I would curse. I'm not even kidding. Like, this is how weird the town was. Like, to me, like it was weird. And
my friends didn't like you if you didn't curse. Like,
yeah, it's like me and my cousin, we listen to rap music and like we always like use curse words and everything. And then I get to school. I'm not saying that made me like cool or anything, but get to school and everyone's like, "Oh my god, like, did you just say shit?" Or like something. I'm like, "What?" You know what I mean? But yeah, 50 Cent was just like a huge role model of mine, and I can't say I saw anybody that I said like I want. Actually, in college after football, well, that's what really drove me, just to be the most athletic I can be. Football. I always wanted to play in the NFL. That was like my dream. But after college, there was this guy, Ulysses. I forget his last name. Chiseled dude. I just saw his physique. I was like, yo, he is incredible.
Bodybuilder?
Yeah.
I know who you're talking about. I forget.
The dreadlock dude?
Yes.
Yes. And I was just like, bro, he's unbelievable. I want to look like that. Like, so that's when I just started lifting mad weight. It wasn't until I started to try to play basketball again after like a year and a half of just like lifting weights, and I'm like, holy shit, I have so much muscle. I can't even move on the court. Like, I'm not even athletic anymore. I had so much muscle. And dude, I was literally like 4% body fat at like 230 pounds. All natural, like, obviously, you know what I mean? Like, I never took none of that stuff. I hated creatine. That just makes your body hold on to more water. I've seen tons of people take like pro hormones and creatine and things like that, and they lose all their results as soon as they're off of it. And to me, I like I said a little bit in the past podcast, I mentioned that they put me on Accutane in high school. So they put me on this drug, and I experienced so many side effects. And that again was like, I need to undo all this stuff. Your body is an amazing being. It's constantly working to heal itself. So I need to undo and supplement my body with the right nutrition to help me get rid of all the toxins that I've kind of polluted myself with.
Dude, I have to. There's a few different ways to go there, but I have to jump in with the 50 Cent.
Yeah.
I saw an interview the other day. It must have been a YouTube short or something, and 50 Cent, they asked 50, they're like, 50, you talk all this shit, right? You do all this shit on social media. You have no filter. You don't care.
Right.
How are you able to do that, but you have 10 brand deals and 8 TV shows? Mm-hmm. And he's like, dude, I stayed an artist. He's like, be an artist. Don't be a mogul. Don't be he's like, sure, like, he's a business, right? But he's like, I always stayed an artist. And so if you stay true, what I think a lot of times what happens is that we're kind of going off here, but a lot of times what happens is people gain fame, notoriety, etc., and they want to be a figure. And they're more concerned with being a figure than the actual art or being an artist or doing the actual thing that they got famous for.
Right.
They're more, they like the what it looks like, right? The image. They like the image of them being a figure. So, but 50 Cent, that was never appealing to him. But he knew, he had foresight to know that when he did get to that point, he always needed to have that creative control and that creative freedom to do whatever the fuck he wants to do. Yes. I love that about him, dude.
And that's interesting because I feel like once you get to a certain point, you get more eyes on you. You get more opinions. You hear more outside noise. And you kind of, it takes you away from yourself because you want to maintain this status where you're pleasing all of these people. So you sort of unconsciously start to revert to being like a people pleaser as opposed to just staying to your true artistic formula to what got you there in the first place. And like, dude, I'll use you as a great example. I was literally talking to my mother about this. She's like, where are you going today? I'm like, I got client training in the morning. I got a couple client calls, etc. Then I'm going to do a podcast with my friend. She's like, who's your friend? I'm like, Sally, like, you don't really know him. You know, I never had him by the house or anything like that. And I was just like, she's like, oh, how is he? I was just like, I admire this kid so much because looking at you from a distance, you are just yourself in so many different avenues. You're so creative and you just work hard at everything. Continue to build your own brand type of thing. And for me, I think real recognize real. You know what I mean? As long as you are yourself, the real are going to look at it. Real never fails. That's a saying I like to say. Real never fails. People are going to see you being yourself, and that's just going to make them, I can do it too. I want to be myself too. You give people confidence to just do the things that they want to do. Like, yo, he's being himself. He's cool. Yeah, there's people who disagree with it, but there's tons of people who agree with it. You know what I mean? Let me be myself. Let me find the people who genuinely want me for being me. And, you know, you can't be something you're not. You're going to attract people who aren't good for you. You're going to attract people who aren't necessarily have the same ideologies as you. You know what I mean? And that's where you want iron sharpens iron. Be yourself. Maintain that creative, artistic spirit, kind of like 50 Cent says. And that's kind of where that 50 Cent story kind of just like pushed my head just now.
Yeah, dude. I appreciate you saying that, by the way.
Absolutely.
And I've realized that my whole goal is not to please the 80%.
Yes.
My goal is to segment the audience. My goal is for 20% of people to go, that's good, and for 10% to go, I really like that, and for 5% to go, this is my fucking guy.
Imagine 5% of the entire world.
Dude, well, why do you think Joe Rogan's so famous, dude?
Yes.
Everything's been real since the beginning, right? And I know because I've been listening since 2014. Most people can't say that.
Right.
So I know, right? I've listened to more episodes than anybody that I know, and way before anybody that I know ever listened to him. And so I know, right? Like people who listen to this podcast from episode 1, they have a very different perspective than people who listen to the last 10 episodes.
Yeah.
It's just because they've seen the come up, right?
Right.
I know Joe Rogan's not a racist, right? But how do I know? Because what this is called, and I learned this the other day on another podcast. I'll turn you on to this guy.
Right.
His name's Julian Dory, but I heard this on another podcast. It's called a parasocial relationship. It means that I've listened and watched so much Joe Rogan that I know him, but he has no idea who the fuck I am. Right?
Yep.
And that's fine. But I acknowledge that. Like I won't go up to Joe and be like, "What's up?" You know, like because he doesn't know who the fuck I am.
Right.
But anyway, so I've just by default been exposed and listened to him. He's been in my ears for so many years that I know, right? And I know that he's never changed, and that's the success, right? There's something about people, they can't take you down if your audience likes you for being the real you. They can never take you down.
Right.
All you would do is switch platforms and there's your audience. Dude, I would pay a lot of money to listen to the Joe Rogan podcast. Like way more than a Spotify subscription.
Absolutely.
It's extremely valuable to me. And so many other people would do that too. He doesn't need the whole world to like him. He just needs his fan base. Turns out that, like you said, if it's 5% of the world, that's what's happening with Joe. That's why he has 12 million views per episode, is because hundreds of millions of people have listened to him, and X amount of percentage are very dedicated.
Exactly.
And that's what I'm trying to build as well.
Dude, I always actually told Aaron Rainy this. You had him on the podcast.
What
Rainy
did you
Days.
do?
Yeah, absolutely.
Shout out, yo, Aaron, if you're listening, you gotta come back, buddy.
Yeah, shout out, bro. I told him, I was just like, yo, when you're releasing your music, you literally just need, like, imagine one person from every town in America liked your music. That's all you need. Just one person in every town. You just have to spread it.
Every college.
And this is for any, like, creative. Me as well.
Yep.
One person everywhere just has to like you. And imagine you have one person from every town across the country, across the nation. Dude, that adds up to so many freaking people in this world. And it's just a numbers game, bro. It's a numbers game. I'm now like selling cars for BMW in Morristown BMW. By the way, anybody needs a BMW, come see me.
You need an M2, you need an M3, you need a 335, you need a 228.
Let me hook you up.
You got the X, you got the XI.
It's a numbers game, bro. It's literally every person that you see, you have an opportunity to sell, but it's also making hundreds of phone calls a day. It's just presenting yourself, presenting your whatever you are offering to somebody, you know what I mean? And you will get people who kind of just latch on. And it's not every single like situation is going to be successful, but you need to just block that out. Just keep going. Keep going forward. Just be persistent every single day. Show up, get better. I didn't work out for about 5 months, super unlike me. I was getting depressed. I was just everything. Like, I was so out of shape. Dude, I went hard as fuck for 4 weeks, just like, let me get back after it. every day I was tired. I didn't have that same love relationship with working out because like I took so far away from it, or took so long away from just doing it. 4 weeks, every single day, I see myself getting better. I start to fall in love with it. That's why I think working out is the quickest way to see results in anything. And it's like the best thing to do for yourself to understand that if you put in a little bit of effort every single day, just get 1% better, just 1%. Show up on days when you don't want to, you're getting better. You know what I mean? 1% better every single day. You're 100% better in 100 days. No matter what you're doing, just keep doing it, get better at it, keep presenting it to people. That's it. Jay-Z said the genius thing that we did was just never give up.
Yeah.
It's so simple, but we just complicate shit so much because we're humans. We allow so much outside noise to get in. We don't want to fail. We think something is failing, but really it's just teaching us this is not the right way to go. Yeah. This is take an alternate route. Dude, that's just where my head is at.
If you want to guarantee failure, just stop.
Right, exactly. And
really how I look at it is like, what could go wrong? Anything. What could go right? Everything.
That's like approaching a girl. Oh man, what if she rejects me? No.
That's
what if
actually
she becomes
one
my
of the
wife?
best microcosms of life is approaching a girl.
It always comes down to like sales. It's like seducing a woman. Yeah, everything is just you can always kind of revert back to a relationship to.
Dude, it really. And you know what? The fact is, you know why that is? The reason why it's like a numbers game and all that is because people want to think that we all want to think that we're so smart and that we go and we look at the numbers and we make a decision based on logic. It's just not true. No. There's like most of the decisions are emotional.
Right.
Even like, yeah, I mean, dude, I have people. I'm on a 30-minute call with them. They spend $5,000 with me the next day. It's like that's fucking bonkers. But they got there was the way that I presented myself and the way that I answered the questions honestly and told them, gave them the full scope of what I'm doing, short term, long term, everything. They had a feeling about me that was good. If they had a feeling about me that was bad, they wouldn't do it.
Exactly.
That's the thing is like when you have a feeling about somebody that's bad, you don't know why. And you don't go along with it if you trust your gut.
Right.
If you have a feeling about somebody that's good, you don't question it. You're like, it's good.
They have to like
Send
you.
it. Let's do it.
To buy into you, to buy into your product, they have to like you. That's number one, first and foremost.
And you have to believe in the thing because people can smell that. And I think that's a lot of times, dude, I used to sell social media fucking marketing bullshit, not real shit where I post your shit, like Instagram likes and all that stuff. I knew it was BS. Like I knew it wasn't going to get anybody anywhere. And so when I was selling it to them, I couldn't tell them a story or like a success. It was all about these like numbers and results,
right?
And they didn't mean anything, and that's why I didn't make a sale.
Yep, absolutely. And a lot of people shortchange themselves. Like, all right, so I'll give you Young Benny. Shout out Young Benny. You also had him on.
Dude, my guy.
Yo, shout out for real.
Come back, dude.
Yeah. He told me one time I was talking to him about like selling a plan. This is very very early on in my career, just like nutrition, etc. We've always been supporting each other, so. I said like, dude, I think I should just like, offer this plan for so and so. He goes, dude, you just sound so unconfident. I'm like, yeah, I don't know what it is. He's like, imagine you tried to sell Derek Jeter a plan for that much money. He's not gonna buy into it because that's like, whoa, $100 or $150. Like, this must be garbage. You know what I mean? He's selling it for so cheap. So stick to your guns. Keep 10 toes down. This is what I'm charging. Mm-hmm. The other day at work, literally 100 calls. I put like a little, just a little tally on a piece of paper. 100 calls. And it was slow at work. I just started texting all the people I've worked with in the past. I think like I made like 90 something text. 3 people responded, 3 sold plans. That's like what it takes. You have to reach out. You have to put yourself out there. No one's going to come to you if, yes, people will come to you, don't get me wrong, but you still always have to put in the work. You still always have to put yourself out there and reach out to others, especially if you're selling something, especially, you know what I mean? Like,
it's dude, the follow-up is insanity. And that's where I'm bad at because I take so many calls, dude, and I don't even have a system to follow up with people. So then I downloaded a program. It's actually free. And now I'm importing everybody in there. Like you'll have an account in there, Tret will have an account in there. Everybody will have a contact, and I'll be able to take notes. Like me and Sean did a podcast June, blah blah blah, blah. Now we did one February, whatever. And I'll keep notes in there about you because there's so many people, and that's what And that's not weird. That's called dedicating time and energy to people. And so, this actually ties right in because there's a great guy on Instagram. His name's Brad Lee. First name, last name, Brad Lee. And he was in a mastermind group. And yeah, good, interesting name too. He was in a mastermind group that I was in a couple of years ago. And meaning that he spoke for our like whole group that we were in. And it was like all young entrepreneurs and stuff. But so that's how I got exposed to him for the first time. He had a video the other day and he goes, and he's on like I think it was like, I don't know. I don't think it was a real call, but he was on and he was basically saying like, okay, so you're going to hire me to do this thing. He's like, what do you have to do? And they're like, well, like here's the goal. And he's like, well, if you were to do it right now, what would you do? Like on your own. And they're like, well, I'll do this and this and this. And then he's like, all right, so you know how to do it. And they're like, well, like not, and he's like, well, so what I'm going to do, he's like, listen, let's cut all this bullshit. You just need me to be there to make sure you don't fuck this up.
Right.
And that right there, like, blew my fucking mind. But that's what I do for a lot of people is I coach people to launch their podcast. I can send you the list of questions.
Right.
Like, for $100, I'll send you a list of questions.
Right.
Most likely, you're not going to sit down for 2 hours and answer them all. You need me and my partner to be on there. Well, actually, have you thought about this? Oh, no, I didn't think about that.
Right.
Let's dive a little deeper. Oh, wait. And so when I get to the end of an hour and a half call and the idea for this person's podcast has completely changed only because I push them and press them to give me an answer, it's hard for people to come up with that answer on their own. And so that video like really solidified it for me. I'm like, dude, and I talked about this, man, we got a great group of episodes here, but Darren Lee on the last podcast really about that coaching. And it's like that accountability. I mean, if you have strong self-accountability, you're good. I mean, not everybody needs a coach. 100% true fact. But that's what you're doing if you are doing that for other people is you're making sure like, hey, fuckface, you can't fuck this up, dude. Like this is what you dedicated yourself to, and I'm going to make sure that you stay dedicated to that because it's hard, dude. It's hard to stay dedicated on your own.
I do think everybody needs a coach. I think other people can get far on their own, further than others without a coach. But at some point, exactly what you just said, it's that accountability factor. It's that pushing you to places that you've never been because two brains are better than one. And the third thing, kind of just relating to training, I need a coach. Like when I'm... Maybe not for like weightlifting and certain things, I know what I'm doing, but I want to go harder when someone's watching me. I want to make sure I am showing the perfect self. You know what I mean?
Why don't you just go hard without that person?
I can and I do, but okay.
But you're saying even for you go harder with another person.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. There's some type of just human beings are meant to be here together. If not, God would have placed us here one by one. You know what I mean? In some way. His energy, her energy, especially if it's a girl, bro. If a girl's watching me work out, bro, I'm going ham. Like, I know every guy does that. Like,
I don't even leg press. Like, I'm gonna just go to the leg press and be like, what's the fucking exercise I can put the most weight up right now?
Exactly. Let me just do something that, like, impress her.
The gym. Can we talk about that? Yo, fucking gyms are weird, bro.
Yeah.
And I work out at home. Now, I've worked out. I work out at the gym with my girl. Now, you want to have you want to have you want to have an experiment, go to the gym with your girl and fucking don't be near her and watch your reaction to people. And dude, the people watching when you're at the gym with your girl, bro, some of the most fun I've ever had, bro. And this is going to sound weird, but like not my girl knows I'm a fucking weirdo. But like I literally tell her, I'm like, you should have seen how that guy fucking looked at you, man. Like you should have seen it. Like, and for me, it's like I know. Like, listen, I've been my girl like we're 2 years next month. Like she's cool. I'm good. Like I'm just playing. But thanks, man. But it really is like that will fucking test your shit. But I kind of went off here on a little tangent. But it is really it is like a little thought experiment. Like having like that's just one aspect of having people around is like that. It's like what am I gonna do? And listen, I don't watch her when she's like working out. Like I literally go my own separate way, and after an hour we text each other and we dip out. But you'll notice even in public, you know, and just the way that people interact, like you act differently no matter what when people are around, you know? And it's interesting like
absolutely that. Yeah, it's just like even when I haven't honestly been to a commercial gym in a long time. I don't
think you're missing. I mean, other than the amazing machinery that they'll have.
Right. Yeah, no, I got enough in my basement. I got a bag.
Me too.
I got a pull-up bar. I got a barbell. All I need.
If you're blessed enough to have the basement gym, just stick with it, dude. Yeah.
Big facts. But yeah, man, just been training a lot of martial arts. Like I said, Muay Thai I've been doing for the past 2 years. taking a couple breaks here and there. Jiu-jitsu I've been trying to get into like pretty heavy. I've done, like 3 months last summer. I took like a long break, and I'm approaching like my second month doing it again. Jiu-jitsu's hard, bro. This is like, to get good at it, like it takes a long time, and
I've never tried it.
Patience. It's just a really cool art. I love it. I'm not gonna sit here and act like I'm freaking amazing. I'm a white belt, you know what I mean? But it's just so interesting, and I just love it. It's martial arts is tremendous, but just the whole conditioning aspect of it, it's just something else that, I encourage anybody who's just been like not, or kind of getting bored of just like the traditional weights, try something else, try something a little bit more practical. I don't think in life we're ever gonna have to squat 500 pounds, you know what I mean? Like that stuff's just not practical. I think we're doing more damage to ourselves. It's more ego lifting, you know what I mean? Just trying to push weight around and things like that. Do things that are more practical and functional training. I really encourage people to do that. Planks, we're planking 24/7 when we're standing up, you know what I mean? Otherwise our body would just like fall over. Our muscles need to contract, our stabilizing muscles, just to keep us upright. So planks, different things like that, bro. I just really encourage people to just kind of really incorporate into their routine.
I for the past probably fucking 2 years or something, since I started watching MMA, a lot of MMA, and all the time in the back of my head I'm like, fuck, I gotta do that, dude. Like I have to try that.
Yeah.
And
it's so addicting.
I'm like more flexible than the average person. Like I was a sprinter, and like I was a gymnast when I was a kid and stuff like that. So like I still stretch a lot, and I stretch every day, but I've really done the traditional like just weight training, dude. If somebody fucking like, dude, if anybody has any self-defense, you're like, I'm fucked. Like I don't care how big or small you are compared to me. Like I have zero self-defense skills.
That's what I learned.
None.
Going into the gym, like I was like, oh, I can fight. I'm a big guy, etc.
Means nothing.
Means nothing, bro. Nothing. Like skinnier, smaller dudes were like, just, bro, you have to know how to move your body, transfer the energy and strength, into your punches, etc. I had all the muscle in the world, and I heard people like hitting the bag. I'm like, yo, that shit sounds way harder than me. What the fuck? Like, I need to learn how to punch. I need to learn how to kick. I need to learn how to do all this stuff, etc. That's what kind of just, again, dropped the weight. I was like 240 before. I'm 205 right now. I'm walking around at 205. I feel way better. I move way better, more flexible. Don't need all that muscle. It was kind of just slowing me down. You know what I mean? But again, training is really subjective. Depending on your goals, do you want to build muscle? Do you want to, build conditioning, endurance? I think you should definitely diversify training. If you just want to be an all-around, just healthier person, you shouldn't just be lifting weights. You should definitely include some type of cardio exercise. And just, train your heart, train your brain. That's what I love about martial arts. Trains your mind. Dude, it's just like, all right, you're throwing a punch combination. It's like, you don't want to mess up. You want to train your mind at the same time as well. And when you start getting better and your body starts becoming more fluid, I don't care who you are, it also gives you more confidence. I know how to defend myself if that situation ever gets there. There are some assholes within this community who are just like, I remember hearing one kid like, I can't wait to just like, this was during COVID, I can't wait till bars open up and we can just start beating the shit out of people. I'm like, yo, you are a loser. Like, going into this and like learning how to fight, if you know how to fight and you train every day, you start to realize like, yo, you don't even want to fight somebody who doesn't train every day. She's like, dude, this isn't fair. I've been in your shoes. I've been in my shoes now. Like, I now understand. Like, I have nothing to prove. You know what I mean? I do this shit every day. Like, what am I proving? You know what I mean? So it's just like, but that's a very small percentage of the community. Everybody usually meets very humble, very just like really cool, calm, down to earth people. And just, it's just a community, bro. It's a community. I love
what Joe Rogan says, which is it's high level problem solving with dire physical consequences.
Yes.
Like it's like chess.
That's tremendous. Exactly. Absolutely.
And obviously he's a fucking,
he's a beast.
He's been studying it for, forever. So that's how he came up with that. But I that's really what it is, dude. I think it's a natural evolution where you get somebody like me who's type A, been working out for 7 years, bored of my workouts. Like I just found this guy, Ryan Humison, on YouTube, just literally binged all his YouTube videos and wrote everything down, and then just created a training plan based on that. Kicked my fucking ass, dude. Destroyed myself, gained like another inch on my arms, like, and I got jacked again. Like I tied like the most jacked I've ever been, and then I'm like, what did that do? Like I'm just still here. Like I nothing changed. So like after realizing, wow, I've been stagnant for 2 years in my workouts, completely changing my workouts, fucking, going balls to the wall, like doing crazy bodybuilding shit, growing, achieving the goal kind of how I set, not the weight. I still want to gain more weight, but then the goal, and then I go, dude, I eat enough as it is. Like, why am I trying to gain 10 pounds? I know I'm just going to get to that 10 pounds, then be like, all right, I'm here, then go back to where I was.
Right.
It's just, the next natural evolution for me is to learn how to do that, especially because me and my girlfriend are going out to Atlantic City, or we're going out to comedy clubs, or going out to a bar, or whatever. Dude, I just like you said, but fighters don't fight people because you realize you're like, first of all, I'm heavily advantaged.
Right.
Even if if I'm a black belt and you're your size and you're a white belt, like, you're fucking, there's not even a chance.
Bro, I went up against a dude who was like 150, and this was like one of the first times in jiu-jitsu, and I'm like, yo, come on, bro. This kid is small. You know what I mean? I'm like, yo, there's no way. The
ego is
like,
fired up.
Yeah, I'm like, I'm strong as fuck. You know what I mean? I'm 240. This kid's like 150.
I'm strong scientist.
Yeah. So, bro, dude tapped me out 4 times. This is the most humbling thing ever. Yeah. Just to go up against people who've been doing this for a long time, like, and it's just so humbling. It's like, wow, like, there are some fucking killers out here. Yep. You know what I mean? And then what made me feel better is, like, there was a kid even bigger than me who's been going a little bit. He, like, picks this kid up and slams him. He's 150, bro. It was a beast. I was just like, holy shit. Like, I'm trying to get to that level. You know what I mean? Because imagine being this size and knowing all that shit. It's just like, again, we're living in a world where it's almost like kill or be killed, in a sense. There's so much crazy shit going on. 4 people were stabbed in the New York subway the other day. The Asian woman who got pushed on the train, or in front of the train in the subway. Dude, you never know. Even the woman who brought the homeless man into her home to shower kills her afterwards. Like, I just want to be prepared. I want to give myself the best. It might never happen. I pray to God it never happens where I'm in that situation. I don't want to be in that situation. But to know, I can defend myself. I have a way better chance of defending myself if I'm ever in that situation. You walk around with a lot more confidence. It's just like, if it happens, it happens. I'm ready. You know what I mean? I don't care who you are. It just mentally, you approach life more confidently. It's like, I can handle myself in this situation. I know if I work, I can handle myself in every situation. Like, it's just,
I want the people around me to know it too. That's the thing. Is, dude, my girl wasn't she's gotten Ubers by herself. Like, I'm not around. Like, we have a long distance relationship. Like, I'm not there all the time.
Right.
There's nothing I can do really from 2 hours away. So
absolutely,
I want her. And now, luckily, she's fucking Russian and she's strong as fuck. But like, strength doesn't. It's skill, dude.
Absolutely.
Strength is only one part of this entire thing, and it's about how you use the strength. But like, I want her to know it too. So I've talked to her, and she's down to I'm like, listen, we should do jujitsu or like self-defense class or something. So it's like all signs are pointing to me going there, right? And so it's funny because my dad called me the other day. I'm at my girlfriend's house, and he's like, hey, I had a drum set. He's like, hey, I sold your drum set to a guy who owns a gym 10-15 minutes away, and he's like, he would be a perfect guest for your podcast. I'm like, all right, cool. So I looked the guy up. They do classes at the gym, so I'm gonna have him on here, and I think that's gonna be my ticket to at least start and get into it. But have you ever heard of Dale Brown?
It sounds super familiar.
Self-defense guy.
Yeah,
on TikTok.
Wait, shit. Is that the guy? That's not the guy who is like, I don't know if he's kidding or not. Like, is that guy?
It's that guy. Dude, this guy, man, and I watched.
Is he serious? Like, I still don't know.
I had to watch a podcast to figure it out. I had to watch a long form interview with him. To realize if it was real, bro.
Right.
You don't even, dude. The fucking story this guy has. Now
he's gonna get somebody killed if someone really thinks
his thing is that nobody's ever died, anybody who's ever worked for him. But most people don't know the story. Most people have no idea who this guy is. Right. So I'll set a little bit of context just for, and then you can, the Adam 22, just type in no jumper Dale Brown. That interview has everything in it. Okay. That's the whole story if you want to, I'll link it. So this guy, right, he's, I don't understand. I don't remember how he came into self-defense, right? But he was living in an apartment complex, right? And I think it was in Detroit. Could be wrong on that. Bad area. 80% occupancy. That's really low, by the way. And in this massive complex, and he realizes that there is just gangs running it, basically, and the police can't do anything, nor do they do anything. And so they'll come after everything happens. The police always come after something happens. Right. Nobody's there while it happens. Right. Okay. Once everything's done, they're defending the person. They don't know. They don't want to get them caught. It's a whole convoluted thing. So he's there, and he goes to the owner of the place, and he says, and he has it's him and a German Shepherd. And so he's like, listen, I'm gonna increase your vacancy, or I'm gonna decrease your vacancy from 20% down to 15, 10. I could get it to 0. And he said, just give me a place to live. Trust me. The guy goes, nah, fuck off. He comes back, right? After more murders happen in this complex, more, drug deals, everything. And he does the numbers. He goes, listen, dude. He holds it up. He says, listen, dude, you're losing $400,000 a year. I'm going to make you money. Just let me live here. Watch. So the guy says, okay, whatever. He's a slumlord. But he's like, all right, whatever. You can live for free. This guy develops this program, right? He's just him and his dog to start. He gets the crime there from down over 50% or 100% or something, just from him being around. And they gave him he was just a security guard basically, and he got this whole fucking place so much safer, right? And so the guy gives him the apartment, and he's like, and the police start talking to him, and they're like, dude, you're what's going on? Because he's calling the police and he's letting them know what's going on, but he's there while it happened. And so he basically does it with this one apartment building that he's living in. And he gets an office. So he has that slumlord who's now making so much more money. He's like, listen, give me an office too now. I made you money, basically. I got you more tenants, got the crime down. Now he has an office and one employee. And dude, over the past 10 to 15 years, he's built that into... There's artists who were making fun of him on TikTok, massive artists. He's been their security for hundreds of their events and not even known it, his company.
Wow.
So they're like, this guy's so funny, fucking dude, he's bullshit. He literally, their companies hired him.
Wow.
And didn't even know it. These, massive, A-list
so
artists.
He's for real.
He's for real. Now, there's videos that are funny of jiu-jitsu guys fucking with him, going into his classes. They'll have a gun. His thing is there's no murders. His whole thing is there's no murders. He'll have the gun, and they'll have the gun, and they'll be like, take the gun. And he can't get it from them or whatever. And they're like, dude, I literally would have shot you. There's no... So it's not an end-all, be-all thing.
Right.
And I know I'm sorry for people listening if I lost you here. But this guy, you gotta fucking look into this guy.
Anybody who knows him, though, was going to be interested in that story.
Yeah. And hey, like I said, segments in the audience here. You can skip around if you want. But that's the... Dude, my mind was blown that this guy was real because he's on TikTok. And he goes, dude, we just made the TikTok just because.
Yeah.
My wife is my social media manager, and she's like, you should just get on this. And he's like, what? All right, I'll try it.
The algorithm for
Blew
TikTok,
up.
yeah.
Gets videos pulled, though.
You know what's interesting about TikTok algorithm? I saw, I think it was Andrew Scholes talking about it.
I love it.
You know
I
what
watched
I'm talking about?
a lot of his podcasts.
So he was kind of talking about how in America, it rewards the algorithm for doing stupid shit like TikTok dances and all that stuff. In China, they reward your algorithm by teaching really fascinating shit and stuff that's gonna grow the population in terms of
abiding the rules and stuff like that.
Yes, in just terms of your intellectual capacity is gonna get better from watching these things in China, TikTok. But here it's just so he's talking about some type of I forget the word for it, but some type of warfare where you just you want to dumb down a civilization, reward stupidity. You know what I mean?
So it's just reward something that doesn't matter.
Right.
I literally just wrote a bar that was not that this is gonna blow your mind, guys. I'm not Eminem, but it was I don't need to make a dance to get some fans,
Yep.
and I will do that for sure. It was a bar. It was just a line that I wrote. I don't have maybe other people can make the dance. I'm not gonna make it, but it is really it ties into that bigger picture of what this is, and 100% true. If you want to make a civilization stupid, you just reward things that aren't valuable to the civilization.
Right.
But yeah, I think that it kind of ties into the larger conversation of these weird things that aren't valuable being put on a pedestal. And right now, my fascination, which actually you can probably speak on this, being your parents were immigrants, right? So there's this weird thing where it's there's this dichotomy happening that I'm really trying to explore, which is, okay, the American dream, right? Pick yourself up off your bootstraps, fucking make it happen. No matter what. Adversity, make it to the top from nothing, etc. Then you have go to college, go on the track that's paved for you, the most paved road, and just follow what everybody else is doing. So what is it? Is it the American dream, or is the American dream dead? Is it the American dread? now that is it from, like, I'm so confused because there's conflicting, it's like they're telling you, like, we reward people who would get a job at a fucking bullshit, like, a normal ass company working on a normal job, like, wow, you did it.
Right.
And then we reward people who, like, came from nothing and built themselves up to the top.
I think it's back in the day, like, you can get rewarded for just hard work. You didn't need a college degree and a college education and everything like that. I still think it's like a scam. You buy into the system. Why should I go to school for 4 years? Now I'm in debt. Now I'm working to pay off this debt. And for me, like, I wanted to be a doctor per se. Like, that was like my thing after football. Like, I wanted to be a gastroenterologist or something like that. Now, like, probably don't want to talk about this. There's a lot of, like, conflicting opinions, but I don't want to get the vaccine. And if I was a doctor, I would have to. And I'm not even kidding. I would quit. I wouldn't. I'm so happy that's like that God, like, directed my route to not be a doctor, because no way. You know what I mean? But you get into this system where it's like you have to get a job that's like, I'm trying to think of, like, the right way to say it, bro. It's like, bro, if I was to just, like, if I went to sell cars, like, right after college, things like that. I know the car market's crazy right now, etc. Every market's crazy right now. Prices are inflated like crazy. But if I was to do this straight out of high school, not college, and for 4, 5 years, 6 years, stack my money. Like, I have a friend who got kicked out of college freshman year, stacked his money, making hundreds of thousands of dollars now, opened up many businesses. He's killing it. But he didn't follow the systematic programming of get a job or go to college, get, like, a desk job, get, like, one of these jobs where they just, you know what I mean? I think it's accumulating capital as fast as you can and not letting that just be your end all be all. You have to have a plan. What are you going to do with this capital? Buy assets. Everyone should read the book Rich Dad Poor Dad. Buy something that's going to make you money. When you buy things that you want, make sure that your assets are paying for those things that you want, etc. They're not teaching us about money. They're teaching us a whole bunch of bullshit. Think about all the things that I and you have learned, and I'm sure many others. It has not been in school. Your social intelligence are from books you read. Your financial intelligence are from books you read. So many things are from books you read, from YouTube, from watching mentors, from watching coaches, from meeting people, from putting yourself in a certain position to be, educated in ways that the school system can't do. And who are these teachers and professors? Half of them don't know what the fuck they're doing. Half of the physical therapists don't know what they're doing. They study, they're good at test taking, they get these jobs, and now they're qualified to teach me how to live my life. Why? Just because they're good test takers? Just because they can remember a couple things? And, like, I don't know. But regardless, where I started this was, like, when our parents and, that immigrant mentality was work hard and you can make a way for yourself. It's just gone now. I think they come from a generation where they got everything that they wanted, and too many people have given their kids things that they didn't have growing up, rather than teaching them the things that they didn't know. You know what I mean? So they created this, like, kind of generation of spoiled princes and princesses where everyone feels entitled to certain things. Look at social media, and, like, especially now, the way the world is kind of moving is just everyone feels entitled to this. You can't hurt my feelings. You can't have your own opinion. You have to, do things this way and that way. And it's just like, I don't know. We're in this is like the roaring 20s in, like, a different sense. Like, we're moving in a totally different direction. 10 years from now, like, we already don't recognize the world from 2 years ago, let alone, 10 years from, I don't know where we're headed. You know what I mean? It's crazy what's going on right now.
Yeah, I was listening to a podcast from the same guy with that Dale Brown, Adam 22, and he was like, dude, my wife told me after, like, we had a party for my kid that's like 5 or whatever. She's like, she told me after it was like 20 grand for the party. And I work a lot of events, and I know how much these people spend on their kids or their own or their wedding or whatever it might be. But I'm like, he said, he was like, is my kid gonna, like, expect that that's life? Right. Like are they gonna expect that, like, there's servers walking around and serving you, and, like, there's entertainment and there's a bounce house, and it's like, is that harming my kid? Like, should we just have gone on a hike with their friends?
Right.
That costs $0,
Right.
And there's no right answer.
Right.
But I think that the conversation is the first, like, talking about this stuff, because, dude, with my kids, like, I don't know, like, it's that same thing, and exactly
Work
what you
hard
said.
to enjoy that party.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we're gonna throw you a big party for your birthday. These are the things that you need to do to ensure that we're gonna actually follow through with this birthday promise party. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well,
read this many books,
dude. There was a friend of mine who, a friend of mine's friend who I know as well, but less so. My friend would tell me about him and his parents, and his parents would. It was vicious, dude. It was like every 6 hours of reading was like 1 hour of video games.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, I just had free for all. I could play video games. My parents never told me to stop playing video games because I wasn't fucking with my sister.
Right.
I wasn't out somewhere they didn't know.
Exactly.
So, like, they didn't care what I was doing. I was yelling curse words. My dad would yell at me. I would keep yelling curse words. Like, but the discipline that I had was, like, take out the garbage. Like, get fucking, get disciplined if you didn't do what I told you to do, But it wasn't that, like, super structured. And I'm not saying that's the right way to do it, And but
our parents still did something right, because look at us. Mm-hmm. Do you know what I'm saying? I can definitely.
That's why there's no right way, really.
Right.
Like, how do you fucking raise your kids? Well, you can read a bunch of same thing with it, right? How do you start a business? Well, read a bunch of books and just do what you think might work for you.
Yeah.
And then iterate on it, But yeah, our parents raised us the only way they knew how, man.
Exactly, and we'll do the same.
Yep.
We'll do the same. Yeah.
There's more resources now.
Of course, and like we're definitely more we're more fortunate than our parents. Obviously, you know what I mean.
This fucking
in the way that
world
they came up
we're in is bonkers. You could just do anything that you want now, and that ties into the beginning of this segment of the conversation, which is your buddy was like, okay, I'm just gonna like go like save money and start a business,
right?
Like there was but he was in a era where he could start. What are his businesses like online or?
He actually opened up the first CBD company in Long Island.
Even better.
Natural
he
remedies.
Actually did something that's been around for hundreds of years, which is a storefront.
Yep.
Yeah. And it's like it's insane. Or not obviously not the CBD part, but the structure of the business.
Yeah.
It's been around forever, and that's the immigrant mentality too. Like
100%.
All those people open businesses, Mexican places, Chinese places, whatever. Like those are just two examples.
Yep.
Of so many people. I edited a podcast, my friend's podcast. And he had a gentleman on. His name's Marcus Chan. Very, very high level sales guy. Mm-hmm. Extremely high level dude. Like his students make like billions a year or some shit from their sales. And his parents own a Chinese restaurant. It was like could not have been more classic. His first sales job was selling Speedos, you know. But like he learned it from that. But that was that kind of mentality. And like that's what I'm saying. Like it's not lost. It's just there's even more opportunities now. But I just don't think that rewarding the mainstream makes no fucking sense to me.
Nothing. We're like in this space right now. We need instant gratification. Do you realize like those same people who have those restaurants worked 24 hours a day? Like, you know what I mean? Like, all right, 18 hours a day, 16 hours a day, whatever it is, 7 days a week. Didn't complain, I don't have a day off. Didn't complain, oh man, this week nobody came in. You just keep fucking showing up. And that's something that this generation just absolutely, we don't have. Social media, you post a picture. How many people do you know, I didn't get enough likes, I deleted it? That's one thing that used to piss me off so bad.
I've done it with posts on LinkedIn before, definitely.
I remember just telling myself, like, yo, I never want to be that way. I was just like, if whatever I post, I don't care if I get 3 likes, I'm keeping that shit up there. I'm confident in myself because, again, I think we talked about this last time as well on the podcast. Once you start to justify yourself or kind of try to like make up for like what you did, it's like you lose all power. You lose all
even
like,
over yourself.
Yourself. Don't justify yourself. I did what I did.
You can make any excuse you want, but if we get real about what that post is for, that post is for the 13 people or the. I don't care if it's if it's one person. Somebody's gonna see it,
right?
Even if they don't like it,
right?
It's for that person, then And it's just about that comes back to the purpose thing, It's really when you have the purpose. Like once again, I've said this many times in the podcast, but for the person listening right now, I'm doing this for you,
right?
And there's many individual people listening, but that's the purpose of it for me,
right?
Like I don't need any other metrics,
right?
Really, like I need to grow. Now I'm in a position where I can look at my podcast, like I said before when we were outside, like okay, yeah, I know this podcast is going to be really popular, but it's just about how I'm going to go about doing it. But I'm not doing it for that.
Right.
I'm just giving it the justice it deserves, which is for not now it's thousands or tens of thousands of people. It's worth, this podcast is worth hundreds or thousands or millions of people seeing it, and then we can use the new resources from that to make decisions that make it even better for those people who were there even in the beginning, right?
Absolutely. Yes. And the true fans are going to stay.
Yeah.
Regardless. You know what I mean?
100%.
There's tons of people who definitely mess with your vibe and definitely mess with the podcast. You only need, I remember what my friend told me, I was like, this book is long. It's, I think it was Think and Grow Rich. I was like, this is long. It's like tedious. Like, I don't understand.
It's so boring, dude.
It is boring. He's like, dude, just pick out one thing that like you can take away from that book and it's worth the $20. You need one valuable thing that you can take from this podcast. It's worth the entire listen. It's going to change the way that you do something. It's going to motivate you. You know what I mean? So that's the biggest thing. You just, that one piece of information that you can help make a change in somebody else's life.
Physical diet, mental diet. If
Definitely.
I have had a few videos recorded about this, and I've kind of alluded to it, but the fact is, I think you have to get real about the type of things that you want to consume. If you just want to watch Netflix, like, that's cool. I watch Netflix too, like with my girlfriend all the time. We have shows that we love, and there's shows that we learn some things, and there's shows that are strict entertainment. But if you just want to scroll IG, that's cool. Like, if you want to, you have to look at the consumption that you're using. And I'm not saying you have to listen to podcasts or listen to this podcast. Just, there's nothing wrong with listening to a newfound conversation about life and about things that everybody else thinks about but we don't really talk about.
Right.
Like, you're never gonna, sure, we can go off on a tangent on Dale Brown, and like that might be not be individually valuable to you, but like you said, like, it's more so the whole thing itself, or at least that's not how I see it. I'm not telling people to listen or not listen. Go listen to whatever you want, whatever you feel is valuable. But I think that as a consumer of even this podcast, you have to think to yourself, like, okay, is this valuable to me? And how is it valuable to me? And is the other media I'm consuming as valuable or valuable in the same way?
Right. You got to have discipline to kind of just like exactly differentiate what's valuable for you and follow up on it, capitalize on it. Like, yeah, there's going to be a portion of my day where I end up fucking off on Instagram, just scrolling for no reason. And what do you do when you catch yourself? Do you go read a book? Do you go do something like productive? Like, yeah, like, because I have this rule. If I have a negative thought in my head, I have to think of 2 positive ones. Just think of something positive just to cancel it out.
For people who are new to Sean, he is insane. It's okay, though. He's good. That's what I'm saying. It's good. You have to
have discipline, bro. And just, no, I know. And just like, you can't negotiate with yourself. Stop negotiating with yourself. You know what you got to do. Go do it. Like, and by the way, I want to take this moment to thank God just for even being here, just for even us having this conversation. It's cold outside. We're warm. You know, we have our necessities met. And thank God for that. But every day I wake up and I start my workout, thank you, God, for allowing me to work out right now. You don't realize how precious certain things are until they're gone. You know what I mean? And just be thankful. Be in the moment. There's no such thing as the past. There's no such thing as the future. It's only right now. So for anybody who's struggling with something, think of something positive. Say it out loud. We're powerful beings. Don't negotiate with yourself. Start that workout plan that you wanted. It's not a weird time. You don't have to wait till Monday. Start right now. And I don't know. Those are just some thoughts that just popped in my head real quick. I wanted to share, bro.
Dude, I love it, man. Imagine, you know, listen, maybe you say to yourself, all right, listen, I'm not going to try jujitsu, you know, but maybe I got to get my workout going. You know, maybe I want to exercise, and I know I've watched a lot of podcasts and read books or whatever, but I want to get my exercise on. I assume that there's a level of meeting people where they're at when they start, and we talked about coaching already, so we set a little context, but like, if somebody wants to do it on their own, is there any sort of, is it so individualized that like you can't give any blanket approaches, or like,
no, conditioning. Okay, you can't take up martial arts without conditioning.
Oh, I'm saying, I guess, fitness in general.
Oh, fitness in general?
Like, imagine all right, I decided I'm not going to do martial arts. I'm not going to start in these variables.
It depends what your goals are. You want to just start working out? Absolutely. I recommend starting with calisthenics. You can do it anywhere. You don't need to force yourself to go to the gym or anything like that. And everybody, for the most part, can do push-ups. If you can't do a push-up, put your knees on the ground, do some push-ups. Start slow, continuously, just gradually build up. Do some squats, do some wall sits, do some planks. There are so many different exercises that you can do. Start walking. I don't care if you don't like. Just start walking. Walk 10,000 steps a day. That's the easiest thing that you can do. We're such sedentary beings right now. Like we don't sitting behind a computer and just like looking at your desk all day. We want things to be so comfortable. Put yourself in uncomfortable situations. That's number one. It doesn't have to be working out. Just put yourself in an uncomfortable situation where it's going to make you grow. There's this thing, like, to bring it back to the science world, hormesis. What doesn't kill you makes you stronger. Cold plunge, sauna, things like that. Sprinting. Just put yourself in a position where you're uncomfortable. Your body has to work a little bit harder. It's going to increase your longevity. It's going to increase just your willpower, your discipline. You get addicted to it. It increases your dopamine. It increases your feel-good hormone in your body. Trust me, just start, and every day just show up. Every day you won't want to do it, but as long as you get a little something done, you keep that discipline going. Because trust me, if there's one day where I said, like, I'm not going to go today, that I said I was going, follow through with your word. My dad always said, don't trust somebody who doesn't do what they say. If you say you're going to do something, you better do it. Otherwise, how can you trust somebody who continuously breaks promises to themselves? They can't even keep a buck with themselves. So it's just like, just follow through with it. Just, make it happen. Like, people want to make so many excuses and like let all this outside noise in, but like you create your own reality. I want to be better at working out. I can't work out right now. I don't have equipment. Do what you can do. And I promise you, Mark Zuckerberg, when he was talking about making Facebook, I just started. I had no idea that it was going to turn into Facebook. I just started and I kept going, and boom. Like, I have the courage to take the first step without seeing the whole staircase. You know what I mean?
Yeah, their motto was move fast and break shit.
Yeah.
Yep.
Straight up.
Makes sense.
You're going to learn. You learn from your mistakes. Those are the most valuable things that you can do, is just make mistakes, learn from it. It's like people don't be scared to be judged. Don't be scared to make mistakes. You should want to make mistakes. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I made a video, and it was like, I didn't put it out yet, but it was like the day or the hour that matters isn't the hour that you decided you weren't going to work out. It's the hour after you didn't work out. Like, yes. It's not the day that you don't work out that matters. It's the day after the day you didn't work out.
Yep.
And that day shouldn't happen, right? Like, in a perfect world, but it happens to all of us. And sometimes we just we're not doing it. Or maybe the whoop tells you that you're not.
And that's fine.
Rested.
That's fine. Like, yeah, rest yourself.
Don't look at me like that.
Maybe the whoop is no. Like I said, I don't even know if we were recording, but Tret's on some fucking hard ass shit with his workouts, dude.
So like last time we talked about the whoop, I remember I was like, oh, like I like look at it and stuff, but like it doesn't determine. Like now it's gotten to the point where I'm like, I see that like the results of like either going to the gym or not going to it, and like it's motivating me more, like, oh, I want to have like this amount of strain today, or oh, I need to get to like it's like another motivating thing. Or you'll
have to be rested. Oh, I need to get rested so I can be as rested as possible for this workout.
Yeah, I did it this weekend. I was like, my recovery's been super low. I haven't been getting a lot of sleep, and I was like, I need to like really like go to bed early. I was like, I went to bed at 9 o'clock, and slept in a little bit, like things that I like know that I needed to do, but like was like, oh, well, if I don't get enough sleep, I don't get enough sleep. I was like, no, I'm doing it, and it's been helping me a lot, honestly.
So sorry, what were you gonna say?
I was just gonna say, sometimes relaxation is just as good as a workout.
Yeah,
you need to reset yourself, but just don't create excuses. Like, you feel good, don't be like, I just don't feel like doing it. Like, actually rest because you need the rest. Like, have like a thoughtful, concise plan about why you're resting. You know what I mean?
Right.
That's the biggest thing.
So it actually has made like real life changes. Like,
for sure,
it's been you can see it in your actual decisions.
Yeah,
even the day before you work out.
Yeah, exactly. Because like,
whereas before you wouldn't have to had that thought.
It wouldn't have. Yeah, exactly. I mean, like, even like small like little changes that like I think about now, like how much like water am I like taking in? Is that like affecting how much recovery like I'm having? Like, so like drinking a lot more water, like
You're Sean, dude. You're dude.
Yo,
and honestly,
he's Sean now, bro.
Honestly, bro, last time you were on here, you said the best thing you can do for breakfast is drink water.
Yeah,
and that inspired me to like. That's
amazing.
Like,
the first thing I do is water.
Water.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I try and drink at least one of these every day.
A Sean success story right here on the podcast.
Yeah, dude, no, seriously, it inspired me, bro.
Bro, absolutely. Speaking of water, I remember you asked about Kangen water.
Oh yeah.
So listen.
Oh no.
No, I think that.
Oh no, for me. What I'm gonna say about it?
I think it's like, I don't like that it's a pyramid scheme. I know that they also like upcharge the hell out of their product. That thing, they sell it for way more than it costs. I don't like it just because there's not enough research about it to me that I'm finding that says like this is the end all be all, this is the best water. Even like Tom Brady and all these athletes who they say have it, they have the machine in their house, etc. They don't really say much about it. It all kind of seems like, you know what I mean? Like there was like this one sales rep, she really like tried to like get me to buy into it, and like she's very knowledgeable about her stuff, but I just really couldn't find something that really brings me into it. Like it makes the water more electric. So they have a really smart marketing strategy because we're electric beings. We need electric water. Reverse osmosis filtration is something that I thought to be like one of the best water filtration systems for a long time. I'm finding articles now that are saying that it's not that good. It removes a lot of organic minerals. I was presumed to believe earlier on that it only removed the inorganic minerals. The problem is they say like, I think that what's it called, distilled water is the best water. It's known as purified water and a thesaurus. Distilled is purified, same synonyms. The thing about it is they say that it, because it's like flat water, it's dead water, it's just 7.0 neutral, it's just like no minerals in there, they say it pulls minerals from your body. I believe that it pulls inorganic minerals, but for those people who say like it still pulls organic minerals, which I kind of see what they're trying to say,
yeah,
take distilled water, purified water, throw some fruits and veggies in there, and let it pull the minerals and the good stuff from the fruits. Throw a little salt, throw some electrolytes in there, pink salt or natural sea salt. Get your electrolytes that way, throw it into the water, drink that water. Distilled water, to answer the question, distilled water to me is the best water. Throw in some fruits in there, throw in some melons in there. It naturally gets alkalized through the fruits and or vegetables. Mm-hmm. That's what I think is the best water.
Yeah, well, that's a great prescription as well. And I also, yeah, I mean, if you just drink, even if you don't, say you drink distilled water and you just have proper supplementation with vitamins and electrolytes, you could supplement. I literally just tried Liquid IV. Honestly, I don't really like it as much as the one I take. Mm-hmm. But I think if you just properly supplement with distilled water, you're good, you know.
Absolutely.
And so my girlfriend's dad owned a water treatment company and just sold it, and I said to him, and listen, like he installs he's an expert, mm-hmm. as far as I know, you know, and he literally had a water treatment business. I mean, I don't know who else I could ask.
Right.
And so I asked him, I said, so he has two distilled water. He has a distilled water spigot like on two of their sinks. It's just built in.
Interesting.
He has a distiller in outside. Obviously his house is like the most like technologically advanced water
I would imagine,
you could probably even have. And so I'm like, and I'm there drinking it. I drink the distilled water, and I asked him, I was like, is this like okay? Like, is it really? He's like, his thing was like, don't believe anything, just drink it. Like, it's fine.
Right.
Like, don't worry about it.
Right.
And coming from somebody that is a quote-unquote expert, that actually, I literally, like, he had a business for 15 years, mm-hmm. Worked in the field for 30 years, I believe him.
Right.
And I think that I'm coming to the point where it turns out that nobody really knows, and there's no one, like, right answer that's like, oh, like, this is the answer. And anything that's tied to a fucking pyramid scheme already is going to turn me off.
Yes.
First, like, okay, send me the water for a month. Mm-hmm. I'll try it.
Yep.
And then I'll get back to you. Like, that's the only way I would want to do it, you know? And it's like that's the way I go about business. I'll teach you how to do it on your own.
Right.
And then if you need help, come to me.
Right.
The way that they're doing it, and it's a fantastic marketing scheme, as you said. Yeah. And the fact that Tom Brady doesn't talk about it because he makes fucking commish off of thousands of people buying this thing. He's just making bread, dude. It's just that's what it is, right? Yep. And so if you have a sponsor for your show, you're probably going to be biased towards that sponsor, even if you're trying to be objective, right? So it's like that type of thing. But yeah, when I see that the whole, by the way, like a lot of this, by the way, I could be wrong, hanging people, but the machine's fucking plastic, isn't it?
Yes. That's the thing. It looks like a little dingy-ass machine.
Dude, it looks like the dingiest, like you said. There's no way it costs them more than $49 to make that machine that they sell for $5,000.
Right.
There's no way. And that's fine. You can mark up anything you want. Look at any shoe that's just, the materials cost $2,000, the shoe's $50,000 or something.
Right.
That happens in the market.
Yep.
But in terms of this, it's like, dude, it can't be plastic. The little thing that you're against drinking water out of, like,
Right.
that's step one for me.
Yeah.
And I'm going off of just logic.
It has these like discs or something that like electrifies the water, alkalizes the water. That's all fine and dandy, I get it, but like, I don't know, just the appearance of the machine. Any article that I found doesn't directly say Kangen water is whatever. It says like alkaline or electrolyzed
their
water.
website too does not. It's a little bit. It's just amalgamous. Like,
Right.
Like you're saying things, but you're saying words, but I don't know if
Not
they
direct.
really mean anything.
Exactly.
You know.
Exactly. The biggest thing I'd say is like stay away from acidic water, because acidic water.
And you talked about this last time, and I
Right.
still don't have enough information for me to be like, well, what about this? Like, I really haven't looked into it.
Acidic water, Deer Park, Poland Spring, a lot of plastic water bottle
And
brands.
that's mostly accepted that those are all not good,
Right.
right?
Right.
Okay.
I think so. A lot of people still drink it. They just don't care.
Yeah. But
like-
is that different than the water that you're drinking out of a plastic
So
bottle
this
today?
one right now, it's alkaline, but I know it's fake alkaline. Like if
it's a Kirkland, yeah.
Kirkland is actually a really good brand, which is why I kind of mess with it. But they throw calcium chloride, magnesium chloride, potassium bicarbonate. That's what they use to make it alkaline. I don't even believe it's actually 9.5 plus.
Now, to do that, it would be pretty simple, right? You just get a test kit and it...
Yeah, and I've
Okay.
seen like people on YouTube like test things like this, and it only comes out to like 8 point something. It's not even 9.5.
Can you set, even if, as a refresher, or if people haven't seen the first podcast, can you do a little bit on the acidic versus alkaline?
Yeah, so 7.0 on the pH scale is neutral. This is distilled water. Anything above is alkaline. This just means there's more oxygen ions within that environment. Disease thrives in an acidic environment where there's no oxygen ions. That's the biggest thing. So something that is acidic water is going to deplete your body of minerals. Your body it goes through a process, homeostasis, to revert back to its natural and stable equilibrium. So it's basically going to take magnesium out of your muscles, calcium out of your bones, just different alkaline minerals out of your body. Put it into your bloodstream, shoot the pH back up to 7.365, which is ideally where your system needs to be at all times. If it gets into an acidic state, acidosis, your body will probably die. But that's pretty much it. Oxygen, think alkaline, oxygen, acidic, no oxygen, 7.0 neutral. You want to be slightly alkaline. 7.365 is the ideal blood pH of your body.
According to...
Science. Just like
that's not really argued.
No.
In terms of, okay.
That's definitely
because so
well
it would
accepted.
make sense logically, if me not knowing anything, to match what your body is going to do with it anyway.
Yeah,
Right? So
or-
you do a little bit above because it's going to lose some efficacy. Or
Exactly. If you do a little above, no problem. Something like 9.5 is really, if you're working out, it's okay.
Yeah.
When I'm on the road, I sometimes just fall into the trap of convenience. Like we
Yes.
just live in that type of world right now. I'll try to make the best decisions and drink certain waters. There's certain waters that I kind of grade B. This is where I'll kind of classify that. I won't drink like Poland Spring. I don't care how thirsty I am. I won't drink certain water brands. I don't care how thirsty I am. But there's certain ones that I'll make an exception for because, listen, I'm not perfect. Nobody's perfect. And we can strive for it, but there's certain situations where I'm not going to be always prepared. It's tough. And that's really it with the water, bro, just in terms of the acidity, etc. But yeah, distilled water, throw some fresh fruits, melons, strawberries, blueberries, whatever, and just drink the water that way. Let it pull the organic minerals from the fruits.
And
this
that's
way.
true. That will happen, you're saying.
Yeah, it will definitely pull out. Like, I don't think it pulls out organic minerals from us, per se. Honestly, I think it takes out the inorganic minerals. But there's science that kind of, nothing is extremely definitive and solidified when it comes to water. It's the most complex subject. Like, when you mentioned it a few weeks ago, it was like, let's talk about water. I was just like, this is like one of the hardest subjects for me, like, and a ton of other people. Like, even with people who I talk about who just follow functional nutrition, and I have friends who study DNA and things like that. Water is super, super complex, bro. But for me, and what many people kind of tend to agree on with me, is distilled water. Add some fruits and veggies in there, and that's the best water. That's the best way to go.
Yeah, it's incredible because it's the source of life, food, water, shelter.
Right.
The 2 episodes ago, I had Jesse Fuchsia on, who is a real estate investor, right? Like, he gives people shelter. And so, maybe I'll have somebody on that grows food or that, has a farm or something like that. But, like, it's water. It's like the building block. And nobody really knows, like, this is the information that we have, but, like, there's a lot that we have to try to figure out. You know?
Bro. Because it's tough to do the studies. Like, think about it. Like, you're only gonna drink this water, etc., and then do this. I don't know. Like, I don't know how that kind of works out, but really, really interesting stuff, man. I hope in the near future we can get like a more solidified, definitive answer. Yeah. But there's so many people who on both sides who kind of.
Dude, and who has the fucking time of the day to look into? Now, I will say, and shout out to Julian Dory, a friend of mine who's going to come on in March. You know, he said on his podcast, he's like, man, we don't have the time for this. And he is a full-time podcaster, and he's like, it's part of my job. But he's like, even me, like, I'm mostly editing. Like, most of the time, it's not even on a podcast talking about it or sitting online researching. We don't have the time of day.
Right. It's
like,
tough.
We don't have time to look through studies. Like, oh, dude, look at these studies. I got things to do.
And it's just science changes every day. And you're constantly getting new information, and scientists from across the world.
According to the government, yeah.
Yeah.
The science changed.
Dude, that's a subject. Like, I'm telling you, man.
I know.
Oh my gosh.
Dude, it blows your mind, doesn't it? Hey, listen, I don't front, dude. Yeah, I didn't get the vaccine either. Luckily I have like I said, I'm an event DJ, and I don't go to venues that require vaccination, and my boss hasn't been vaccinated, and he doesn't agree with it.
They're
either,
reversing their mandates.
No,
like,
dude, once again,
the
science has changed. Dude, what you get banned on Twitter for 6 months ago, the government and the news and everybody is saying now. And it's just wild, man.
Yeah.
It's wild.
The biggest thing I'll say is, this is like the only thing I'll say too, is you gotta, tons of medical researchers, doctors, scientists are all putting their name and license on the line to question a vaccine, and they're not anti-vaxxers because they've never done this for any other vaccine. They've actually advocated for previous vaccines. It's got to make you wonder why so many of these people are doing that. You know what I mean? There's something hidden or wrong with this vaccine, with this picture. That's that. But yeah, I was just kind of
watching. I only got into it one time on this podcast, and this is the other time. But I've never really gone deep in because I didn't. It's like, I know we're gonna stay there. I know I'm just gonna complain.
The biggest thing is you can't say like there's microchips or some crazy shit, because people are just gonna shut you out.
It's amazing now what people thought was conspiratorial is just common knowledge now.
It's literally everything that they said and thought was a conspiracy is just coming out.
What about the day that they said that the immunity from getting COVID is stronger than the vaccine?
My god!
I had the same reaction. I'm like, I need to just.
They finally. I mean, we knew this though. We knew this.
No, but that's but Sean, you'd get banned for that.
I know. But scientists, like, there was like these 4 scientists who were kind of speaking on it. All of them have medical degrees. They're like, we knew this.
The science hasn't changed. Your science changed.
Literally, just to fit a certain narrative.
Choose.
Right.
Yeah.
It's crazy,
fucking
bro.
Wild to me. Yeah, and we could keep going, but hey, listen. At the end of the day, do your own research. Google this shit. I'm not saying we're right. Sean might not be wrong. I might be wrong. We both might be right. This is definitely a gray area. Do your own research. Come out with your own opinion.
Right.
I'd love to stay on or go back to the just training itself.
Pretty
absolutely. Simply, man, because it's something that I love to talk about, and I've had multiple people on, and every time we talk about everything else, and I always forget to come back to training, man. But listen, like, I've done it all in terms of I've done high weight, low reps. I've done low reps, high weight. I've done all the variations, right? I've done bodybuilding programs. I've done do my own thing and see what happens. You know, I've done the Dorian Yates, work out for an hour only and kill yourself in that hour. I've worked out for 3 hours. Like, I feel like I've done the 6 days a week, 7, 5, 4, 3, you know, mixing cardio. Is there, when you were, like, there was a point in time when you were training bodybuilding, like, religiously, right?
Yep. I can give you such a short answer for this too.
Let's go.
8 to 12 reps is muscular hypertrophy. But you want to work hard within those 8 to 12 reps. You want to, like, do 8 reps and be like, maybe I had
2 away
one
from
more.
Failure
Maybe I had 1 or 2 more.
Okay.
You don't want to do 8 reps and be like, I could have done 20. You know what I mean? That's stupid. You're not going to get anywhere with that. 8 to 12 reps is muscular hypertrophy, so that's where you're going to grow your muscles. That's where you're going to look big. You're going to get that aesthetic physique. 12 plus is endurance. Also going to shred you up. Anything less than 8, pretty much strength. The second thing is you want to stimulate a muscle twice. Science has shown that if you stimulate that muscle twice, it's more effective than just once or 3 times in terms of getting results. Biggest thing right there. It depends on your goals, but knowing that's the concrete foundation to steer you towards what you want to do with your own fitness journey. You know what I mean? I want stronger legs. I'm gonna hit them twice a week. I want a bigger butt. I'm gonna do hip thrusts twice a week. I want a bigger chest. I'm going to bench twice a week. Incline bench twice a week. You know what I mean? So it's really just about what your goals are again.
So do you think it's more twice a week or it's more X amount of sets per week?
You definitely want to increase the volume for sure.
Yeah. And it's kind of maximum effective volume, right? And minimum effective volume and maximum recoverable volume. Do you get into any of that? Or
Yeah, I mean, listen, if you're working out strength, you want to increase your strength, you need about 90 to 120 seconds to really fully recover that muscle. Everyone's a little different.
Between sets, you're saying?
Yeah.
Okay.
Everyone's a little different depending
I've heard
on your
up to
conditioning.
3 minutes. I've heard as low as it's the science that I have seen personally. I think 1 to 3 minutes is
Ideal. Yeah, and it depends on your conditioning.
Fuck 3 minutes.
Yeah, that's a long
Who the
time.
fuck is
do you
waiting
do?
3 minutes? Yeah, I mean, no. But this is the thing. You know these people. They don't do 3. They do. All right, man. Let me just check my fucking shit.
Oh,
and
yeah.
they do 10.
Oh, dude, I see it at the gym because I go to a public gym.
Yeah.
I see it all the time. People just like they do like one set, and they're sitting there. I'm like, I already did 2 sets
Right.
of 2 different workouts in the one time that it took you to do your entire one.
Well, you didn't rest long enough, Tret.
No, but I switch it up. So what I do is I'll do whatever that exercise is, and then I'll do in my resting period a different set of muscles.
Superset, like a
Superset, yeah.
Yeah, I superset it, and just if I'm working out by myself, that's what I do because I can't sit there.
Yeah.
I want to do my workout. I want to build a sweat. I want to do all that stuff. I can't sit there and just look at my phone while I'm working out.
At the end of the day, you don't want to rest too long where you allow you don't want to take 10 minutes. That's crazy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Maybe if you're doing 5x5s on powerlifting and you can only do 4 or 5, then I've heard definitely, dude, when you see a fucking strongman or something, they can do 10 minutes.
Right.
They'll be fine.
Yeah.
But generally,
it's
we're
hard
talking
to
about
keep
the
your
average
focus.
here.
It's hard to keep your blood flowing within that 10 minutes. You don't want to lose that wind. You know what I mean? That's the biggest thing. You don't want to rest so long where you lose your focus and you lose your wind.
Because we've all done it where we get on our phone for and then somebody calls us and then 10 minutes
Throws
goes
you
by
out.
and it's I should just end my workout.
Yeah.
I'm basically not working out now.
Yeah, I don't feel it anymore. I'm not in that zone. I gotta get into that zone, and it's so hard. You know what I mean? So, but yeah, I mean, it really depends. I've definitely been in or in that moment where me and my friend were just throwing up heavy weight. I don't even count. You know what I mean? Just stay focused, stay in that moment, and feel your body out. It's all about it's subjective to everybody's body and just your conditioning, how fast you can recover. It's a lot to do with the mind-muscle connection. Make sure that you're contracting your muscles. Really feel your muscles. A lot of people will kind of just work out and they don't worry about form. They don't worry about just actually contracting the muscle. How many times have you heard somebody say I did a whole back workout, but my back's not sore. I don't feel anything. Dude, is your chest out? Are your elbows tight when you're pulling, when you're rowing? Are you really concentrating on those things? If you're not, it's just you're moving weight, but you're not going to get the results that you're looking for. You know what I mean? So it's all about form. It's all about technique. That's the biggest thing.
I did this personally. I mean, I did this crazy bodybuilding workout, and there was nothing with 8 reps or 12. It was all 15 or 20 per set. And like I said, it worked for me. It grew my arms. It grew everything. It was insane. But the major benefit was I literally realized I was using my lats to do tricep extensions. I was using my back.
It's a secondary core muscle. So
yeah,
to
and
an
it makes
extent,
sense.
you're going to stabilize a little bit.
Yep.
But you gotta
but you could start there. So even if you're for people listening, if you just flex your lats, if you could feel them. Flex your lats and then flex your chest and then put your arms at your heart, right? Flex your lats, flex your chest, then do a tricep pushdown. Fucking dude, this is half a chest and lat workout almost at this point.
They're
and
engaged.
then feel your traps. They're engaged too. And so what that 15 to 20 reps did, and of 4 weeks, I did 4 weeks of this program. I kind of customized it to myself. And I had a 4-day or 5-day program. And dude, I trained back and I didn't purposely did not train traps for 4 weeks so I could just learn how to train back without engaging my traps too.
Right.
And that was a game. Dude, my traps stayed the same. Nothing happened. They didn't get smaller or bigger. But my back, I can feel now all these individual muscles in my back. And I'm actually able to hone in on a muscle and on an upper delt or a lower delt or a side delt. And same thing with my shoulder, dude. I realized I was doing traps when I was doing every shoulder exercise. I was just doing traps, basically. And every time then, once again, it would be, just for an example of the sets, and sorry if I'm losing you folks, we're going into some training here. For an example, it would be 100 reps, right? And the first set, it would be like a rest pause. So imagine this. So I tell you, okay, you're going to do a shoulder raise with a 5-pound dumbbell, or you're just going to do a shoulder raise with a weight where you can do 20 reps, where 20 reps is like pushing it for the first set. You're going to do a total of 100 reps. There's no specific number of sets. You just have to get to 100 reps. And it's called a rest pause. So there's no 3 minutes between sets or 2 minutes between sets. It's basically you do the 20 reps and you wait, and it's on you if you want to do 40 next set and wait 2 minutes, or if you want to do 10 and wait 30 seconds. So it really forces you to figure out your cadence. Right. And it doesn't tell you to do a certain amount of sets. Dude, I would literally sit there and just keep my hand on my shoulder and feel my shoulder, my side delt moving, or my shoulder, any of my ulterior heads or whatever, and I would feel them, and dude, my shoulders, like, I finally, after 7 years, am able to grow my shoulders now. Nice. After doing, but I had to do high volume and low, very, very, very low weight. Stupid weight to the point where I'm like, is anything happening?
Yeah, but you're getting cut up. Dude, I mean, like, hold 2 pounds out like on a side raise for 5 seconds. It's not hard. 50 seconds, it's pretty hard. Like 5 minutes, you start to shake. You know what I mean? Your muscles are engaged. The biggest thing is making sure that the muscle that you're working is engaged and high volume, literally. I always say 4 to 6 sets for anything that you do. Like, try to stay within that range. You can go more. Like, dude, buddy of mine, we used to do 10 sets of 10 for deadlifts, 10 sets of 10 for squats. There's different types of training. There's no one right training. And you can grow muscle from 15 to 20 reps, anything higher than 12 reps. 8 to 12 is just the ideal hypertrophy training. But again, you're stimulating the muscle, it's going to grow. You're tearing fibers, it's going to grow back stronger. You know what I mean? But in terms of building that big, bulky muscle, you want to stick with the lower weights and heavier weight. Lower reps, heavier weight. You know what I mean? But there's so many different avenues and like lanes with working out. The biggest thing I'll tell anybody who's just beginning is make sure you're contracting that muscle, work on the mind-muscle connection, get the right form to avoid injury, throw the ego away. Like, big deal. Like, you shouldn't categorize yourself as like, oh, I'm this guy, I should be benching 135. Like, dude, I remember being in the gym and there was this chick next to me squatting like 265 for like sets of 10. I'm like, holy shit. I was like, I should be doing that. I'm like, nah, stop. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't need to be doing that. My ego is getting in the way. Like, that's not what I'm focusing on today. That's not, you know what I mean? So just individualize that workout for yourself, work on the form and the technique, and that's it, man. And just, again, every day, volume, try to get a lot of reps, a lot of sets throughout the week. The same thing with people who count calories. It's like, I have to eat this much by today. Stop putting so much stress on yourself. Break it up into the week. If you overeat on Monday, eat a little less on Tuesday. You're going to balance it out. You know what I mean? Yep. If you overtrain on Monday, take a little bit easy on Tuesday. You know what I mean? You're going to balance it out. Just make sure you keep in mind, like, a week basis or a monthly basis, you hit that goal. You know what I mean? That's the biggest thing. And that's how you track and make the changes to your body.
Yeah, I think it's setting expectations. I talked about this on the last podcast with Darren, and he was like, he trains bodybuilding still, doesn't compete, but his thing is like, yeah, if I hit my diet 70-80%, I'm good. But that thing is like, what's 70-80%? Like, he knows that for himself, right? Like, if you have to set your own standards of success and failure. Like, you have to judge yourself by that, you know. And that's really it too. It's like, yeah, like, hey, dude, if you know, like, okay, minimum, I have to work out 4 days a week. If you work out 3, that's failure. Like, if you hit 5, then that's success plus some. Right. But you set that expectation. There's no one way to do any of this. You just have to set your own success metrics for success and failure. And back to the training thing, from this program, I learned how to make a lightweight feel heavy.
Yeah, absolutely.
And if you can make any muscle. Weight, like you said, hold 2 pounds out, hold your arms out, and just hold 2-pound weight, like, dude, it's gonna be
you're gonna struggle eventually.
You're gonna struggle, and I learned that too from being a mechanic, and like when I was working like manual labor like that, working on cars, dude. Like, oh man, you develop weird muscles, like weird forearm muscles, and like I was doing this all day, like, and for people listening, I'm like just contracting my fingers, like that. Even that, like I learned how to get, like I got very sore.
You felt your
hands
handshake?
got sore. Oh yeah.
Your handshake got stronger, right?
Oh yeah, dude, 100%. And I have tiny little hands, but like, oh for sure, my grip strength like was through like insanity at that point when I was literally just like wrenches every day. And in terms of longevity, and you know this too, 2 things for longevity is grip strength and walking speed.
Yeah, absolutely.
Are 100% corollaries for longevity.
Absolutely. Grip strength is something. The best exercise for that: towel grip pull-ups. Lower, and again, to make it more effective, lower yourself very slow. That's how to make the weight feel heavy. The lightweight feel heavy. Control the weight. Contract the muscle. I can take a 45-pound bar, and if I'm going like a sloth, it's only going to take like 10 reps before I feel it, and I'm just like, wow. Like, you know what I mean? You can make any weight feel effective and efficient. It's just about how you move it. You know what I mean? Controlling the weight, controlling the muscles, contract, etc.
Dude, you want to know how to get strong and ripped? Just do an arm wrestling workout. You're gonna be fucked. Like, just do that. Just do that for a week. Notice how sore you are. You ever see those guys, dude? If you want to, there's so many, dude. Devin Larratt, Travis Badgen. There's so many of these guys. I watch a good amount of arm wrestling, and dude, they're ripped. They're jacked, and they're stronger than anybody you've ever met. Now, some of their hands are they're genetic freaks. Some of them, like their hands are like a catcher's mitt. Right. But dude, if you want to be jacked and strong, just do an arm wrestling workout.
That's like isometric training. You're contracting, applying pressure and force, but you're not going anywhere. Mm-hmm. Isometric training, like a plank.
Yes,
like a plank, bro.
100%.
I do a 5-minute plank every single day, and literally, I even like. Implemented it with a bunch of my clients lately. They're like, yo, I've never seen my abs like look so ripped and come in so fast. Every muscle in your abdominal fascia is contracting. Arm wrestling, every muscle in your arm is fucking contracting, trying to move it. You just start, and it's for a long duration. So volume again. Mm-hmm. How long is your muscle contracted? And it's working that long. Think about it. If you're like 3 minutes of wall sits, like we used to finish off like workouts 3 minutes of wall sits, 3 sets, 3 minutes of wall sits. I just did 9 minutes of wall sits throughout the day. That's a lot of time fucking spent wall sitting. Do that shit for every day for like a week, and look at your legs afterwards. They're just constantly contracting. You're gonna see them sculpt up. It's just about volume again. It all falls back to volume.
Yeah, well, that's the difference. And Trey, in the meantime, can you look up Devin Larratt?
Yeah. And
grab a picture of him. You got to see this guy.
Yep.
This is the guy that was on the show?
No, this is an arm wrestler. One of the most. He's the best in the world right now.
Wow.
Yeah, he's a Canadian police officer. I think he's like 6'4". His hands are like, I don't know, probably the size of his table or some shit, man. Shit, I don't know where I was going with that before that. I kind of lost that thought. But that's the difference between leg press and a squat.
Right.
You want, and I heard a weight training explain this one time, and I never thought of it differently, which is you want the best fight of gravity that you can possibly.
The guy, right?
Nah, I don't think that's Devin Larratt.
All right,
Keep going.
Hold on.
Oh, right there. Yeah, that third one on the top.
Arms are crazy.
Yeah,
bro looks like SpongeBob in that episode.
Oh, dude, these guys are insane too. They're all
which one?
Yeah, that one right there.
This one?
Yep. That's Devin Larratt, dude. Look at this.
Yo, his arms.
In the video, I'll throw it up.
Crazy. He got long ass arms.
Dude, that guy's 6'4", so imagine.
Yeah, I'm 6'4", bro.
Is this him?
But he looks way bulkier right now.
Yep, that's him too.
His forearms are crazy. Forearms are massive.
Dude, look at that one. He's flexing there too.
Oh yeah, go to the bottom left. Bottom left.
Yep, that one. That's the craziest picture. Bro, no, fuck it. Okay, I don't want to say no steroids, but.
Yo.
But what?
Bro's arms look so long. I don't know if it's the camera angle or what.
Dude, his arms are that long.
Wow.
Like legitimate. Like they're like 6 feet long.
It looks
each.
insane. Yeah.
Dude, it looks like a figment. If you're listening right now, just if you're not driving or doing anything coordination wise, just look up Devin Larratt arm wrestling. Even if you have zero interest in this, just you have to see Devin Larratt flexing. Look that up.
This is the
insanity.
real life SpongeBob blow up arms.
Dude, it 100%.
It's the real life SpongeBob.
But look at those biceps. Like, look at the
It's
definition
crazy.
in that shit. Fucking incredible.
And
that's what
his
I'm
muscles
saying.
are so long because like how long his arm is. Like that's it. It's like a crazy aesthetic I've ever seen, bro. Honestly.
By the way, doesn't train for looks at all.
Right.
Like,
I wonder what
maybe
his
he does a
training
little.
regimen is.
He does curls and shit, but
I'm sure.
But no, okay. So maybe you can find a like sample arm wrestling training thing. I'll give you a little mission here if you want to tackle it. See what you could find. But no, the arm wrestling trainings are dude, they're insanity. That's what I'm saying. If you want to get jacked and
Arm
ripped
wrestling
and strong, just do arm wrestling workouts.
Word.
You're gonna have to figure out what you're gonna do for your legs, but
Yeah.
you know, no. But these guys have strong legs too because they're like clamped to the table. They're all just overall crazy.
I'm sure
human
wall sits
beings.
are probably like a big part of the training regimen.
Yeah,
I would imagine.
There's another guy you got to get into too. Schoolboy, his name is. For people listening, just look up Schoolboy arm wrestling. This kid, he looks like a child, and he's Schoolboy, dude. He schools every single grown ass man, best arm wrestlers in the world.
Really?
Yeah, incredible, dude. I'm going deep on this, and I'll get off it now. But I've really my dad and I have gotten into it together, and he actually got me into it, and now I'm like all crazy about like I watch the matches and stuff on YouTube, and I'm not like hyper fan, but it's really like the training is incredible too.
It sounds really interesting. It's just unique. It's so different. Like you know what I mean. I never for once kind of thought of like something like fucking arm wrestling as actually being. Normally the arm wrestlers that I've seen were just these big bulky guys, not necessarily
like farm boys.
Yeah. Exactly. So
and those guys, there's a lot of those guys that do well too. But yeah, some of these people are genetic freaks.
Did you ever see the slap contest?
I have seen those.
Those motherfuckers are crazy. They have to have brain damage. What is the point of all
dude,
that
there's
shit?
no way they don't.
Like that's insane. Like CT, like they're.
Yeah, but forced.
What's this?
Oh, I think we got a little workout.
The exercises.
Oh, forearm, yeah. So
forearm
they do
curls.
mostly cable wrist curls. Dude, they do wrist curls on the pull-up bar with weight. Like this.
Like
on a pull-up bar.
You're pulling up
with your wrist.
Like curling like that.
Yep. With weight. Like with 345 pound weights.
Holy shit.
Hanging from them. Dude, it's insane, bro. Dude, and so, dude, I'm telling you, this training is wild. But who I wanted to mention as well, do you know knees over toes guy?
Yeah.
How amazing is that? And this is the first point I'd like to make about him is that science isn't going to, it's going to take 30 years for them to catch up
to him. Absolutely. Dude, all our lives, make sure your knees don't go in front of your toes. All our lives. I had the knee injury. Make sure when you squat, knees don't go over your toes, etc. And just to see him kind of defy all of that and the success rates and success stories that he's having, he's unbelievable, bro. Like I literally have been looking into his program and stuff. I might just buy it. I kind of just want to learn about this shit.
Let me know if you buy it. I'll probably buy it too.
Bro. Straight up, I just want to kind of practice. It makes so much sense the way he kind of just describes everything. Like you're training the muscles that like we otherwise don't train. We have to make sure that we're flexible there. Otherwise, if you're not flexible, that's usually where injury occurs. So, dude, it's incredible. But it's funny because I've always kind of thought what he thought. Like when you're jumping and like when you're doing these athletic things, your knees are over your toes. But I've never just dove into it as far as he has. Like he took that shit and ran with it, and he's props to him, bro.
His story is incredible too. I'm not sure if you know the full about basketball and how they kicked him off the team.
Yeah, partly like
they wouldn't let him train like that.
Right.
In NCAA.
Right.
Crazy. Like once again, the science takes so long. That's what he said. He was like, dude, I'm not concerned. Like he said, I'm doing social media because I have to, because like nobody's gonna know about this.
Yeah.
And it's the 100% the forefront. To give people context, I don't know his first and last name. Knees over toes guy on Instagram. Go watch some videos. You'll know exactly he'll understand it immediately. Maybe not the science behind it, but basically this guy is just challenging all the conventional wisdom. He went from somebody who I think was like 6 feet tall or 6'2" or something like that, but completely unathletic by any means. Could not barely jump. Couldn't touch the rim. Now he'll get his head. He flies.
Yeah.
And it's all about doing this. What's the muscle? The front.
Is it the patella tendon? Is it training the patella tendon? The one in front of your knee?
Patella, but it's it has a tibia. tibialis.
Oh yeah.
So
right.
it's the
I'm sorry. I thought you grabbed your knee when you did that.
no, you can't fucking see me. I'm an idiot, dude. And for people listening, you definitely can't see me. People listening, Sean can't even see my knees right now. So this is simple common knowledge, folks. The muscle in the back of your leg, your calf, right? But what about the muscle in the side and the front of your leg, of your bottom leg, by the way, below your knee? That's your tibia, or your tibialis. That muscle is actually the first muscle that gets worked when you do anything in terms of jumping or sprinting.
Yep.
Okay, so this is Devin Larratt.
Yeah, this
by
is
the way.
Devin Larratt.
His arms just look so unproportioned.
Jim, by the way, the best arm wrestler in the world. This is his gym. This isn't The Rock, guys. This is this guy in his freaking basement. Everything's modified. Right now he's teaching. We have to overlay this video. He's teaching.
I don't want to put the audio on there just because.
No, it's all good.
I might try some of these exercises because I'm all about grip strength.
And he's teaching you how to do it, and I'll add it in the description as well.
Yeah, I can try and skip ahead a little bit maybe.
Yeah, and if you hit the right key on the keyboard, it should skip like 10 seconds too. Maybe. You might have to click on the video. Oh, there we go. Yeah, so he's explaining the mechanics. For people listening, I'll skip through this, but he's explaining the mechanics of how he does a curl. It's not just your traditional, like, the actual muscles that are flexing. Yeah, dude, this guy's insane, and that's his home gym.
Bro just looks like crazy.
Right? Oh, yeah, uneven weights, curl with wrist curls, uneven weights.
Working all the stabilizing muscles within his forearms.
That's it. That's the workout right there. Wrist curls with like a fucking 135.
Wow.
Dude, what you bench, he wrist curls. But he's a straight beast, obviously. But yeah, dude, dude.
Thank you for showing me this guy. Like, yo,
Bro, you will binge this guy.
Yo, because I'm telling you, even for martial arts,
your new binge.
Stronger forearms, stronger punch. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
So I just love that. That's amazing.
Yeah, and I had my buddy Connor Mills on, man, and when I had him on, he was a really very good wrestler, and he was like, yeah, man, he's an announcer, public address. He sounds like this. And dude, you gotta listen to this fucking. Just listen to it.
You got the voice for it.
Just listen to the episode, like. You'll soothe you. It'll soothe you.
Yeah.
He's awesome, and I love you, buddy. And he was like, "Yeah, I gotta start working out again or something." And I just like at that moment looked at him, bro, and like proportionally, like he's like just a short, stocky dude, like just pretty strong, but his freaking forearms are like 2 or 3 times the size.
I believe
and it's like, dude, so much comes from once again grip strength and walking speed. So
it was
walk
funny.
and do grip.
Yeah, literally. I used to do like so many. I have a funny story. My buddy played football with him at Towson University. He's a lineman, so I invited him out to LA, and he like we're doing like a dicks out type of just like handshaking contest just to see who's like, you know what I mean. Mm-hmm. He squeezed my hand, and I'm going as hard as I can. He's just looking at me like, and I'm like, no fucking way, bro. You can't sleep in my house after this. Get the fuck out. Like there's no way I just invited you into my home to just like, fucking just
do that to me.
What's the word? Like emasculate me like that, bro. I was like, no fucking way. So months went by, and I just started doing towel grip pull-ups like a motherfucker. And we got back, and I'm like, let's do it. And we were both squeezing mad hard, like kind of going. I'm like, yes, thank God. Like, you know what I mean? Like, he's like, damn, those towel grip fucking work. It was crazy. But like that just like what motivated me, because I was like, yo, but he's a lineman. So like, yo, his grip strength is crazy. He's a big boy. My boy Amos. Shout out Amos. Bro, it was just mad funny. I was just like, that's what kind of got me infatuated with the grip strength, because I've never shook somebody's hand where they just fucking like I felt like he was gonna crush my hand, bro. In fact, there was one moment where he started squeezing, because I'm like, yo, don't do me like that, like squeeze, and we both heard a crack, like a pop. I'm just like, oh my gosh, like some shit. He definitely just did some shit, bro. Like, I was like, yo, I gotta get my fucking towel grip. I'm about to do them wrist curls. Like David, what's his last name?
Goggins?
No, David.
Devin Larratt.
Devin.
Yeah, Devin's great. There's so many. Look up Schoolboy and Devin Larratt, both of them.
Word.
You'll go on a full binge. Trust me. Next time you're on, you'll probably be like, dude, I did my first competition. Dude, I'm trying to I'll hit you
6-0.
Dude, if there's a ton of them. Yeah. Dude, we come at Sean, just his right arm is like 3 times bigger than. Dude, there's people with freak arms that do this, man. But I'll let you know they have a ton of competitions in PA.
Word.
So like even just to go see one, I feel like would be exciting.
It'd probably be mad
And
exciting.
it was so funny. All the videos were like the arm wrestling competitions were the first full-fledged, like full occupancy things. I'm talking like 2 months after COVID started.
Really?
Nobody is masked on. They're all arm wrestlers, bro.
Yeah.
They're like, we don't give a fuck. We're fucking arm wrestling.
Exactly.
And it's just so funny. You'll see like 2 people with masks. Like, and it was in full beginning of COVID. It's just so funny, man.
I still can't believe people are wearing fucking masks. Like so many.
Dude, is it not common knowledge that like air goes everywhere? Like, I don't know. Is that
there's
controversial? I didn't know. Well, by the way, we'll get pulled from YouTube, right, if I fucking say this.
Yeah.
Not that I care.
You don't eat your shit. You don't drink your piss. Why are you breathing in the carbon dioxide that your body's getting rid of? It's a toxic waste. You're not supposed to be breathing that in. You could suffocate that way. Not only that, they did a study. There's like 11 different types of pathogenic organisms that accumulate on the mask if you wear it for about 4.5, 5 hours. And they're making these kids wear it, and just not to mention like all the mental fucking just. And then the adults are not wearing it, but they're making the kids wear it. Like, dude, like I'm so happy I'm not in school and not in a time of my life where I have to deal with this, like with kids and whatnot. It's absolutely freaking bonkers. And so many, like even Fraudchi, like he even said
Fraudchi.
Yeah, bro, he is. This guy's the biggest fucking fraud.
Dude, hey, I don't want an Italian telling me what to do. Give me somebody from India. I don't care. Dude, I don't want an Italian telling me what to do with my drinking, okay?
You know, in the 80s, he actually...
I'm making a joke for anybody who's getting triggered right now. Get different podcasts if you're triggered, by the way.
In the 80s, he made this video, or he was just like talking, and he was like, yeah, stay away from people with AIDS. You can get it just from being in close vicinity with them. It's just all freaking just like propaganda and just trying to scare people, and they keep going back on their words and shit. I'm just like so confused when I see people like, put your mask on. I'm like, yo, I fucking hate you already.
I actually had my boy Just Tiggs on. He's a rapper, and he's like takes it even, not that maybe I'm not trying to make you seem a certain way, Justin, but he was like, yeah, like I don't wear my mask in the airport unless somebody tells me like to put it on, like unless a security person. And like it's like, that's not me. Like I'm in a place, like if they say, hey, you gotta wear one, you gotta wear one. If it's like a law or whatever, like even I don't even think a mandate is a little. If I'm not wearing one and somebody in an establishment, this has never ever happened to me in any place where I didn't wear a mask. Nobody's ever came up to me and asked me to put one on. If somebody does, I will. Like, I'm compliant to the point where I'm not an asshole. Like, I'm not going to be like, no, you don't enforce your shit on me. That's okay. I'm in your establishment.
Can you tell me if I was an asshole in this moment?
Let's go.
I was in Whole Foods, and this woman, a customer, she saw me from across the room, and she's like, put your mask on. And I was just like, I just walked away. I was like, I'm not in the mood for this. And she's like, and I'm like, okay, like I walked away. She's following me. This bitch is following me around. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, like I didn't answer anything that she said. I'm like, I'm not going to even respond to you. Like, just, aren't you endangering yourself by coming closer to me without the mask? And if your mask works, why the fuck do I have to have mine on? It just makes no sense. So she got like an employee was like, and I saw the employee come in, and I just like, all right, I put it on. But she was just a customer. Like, she wasn't an employee or anything. It wasn't her establishment or anything. I literally just walked away. I'm like, I'm not even engaging with this woman. Like, she was literally like the definition of a Karen. Like, I never even say that shit, but like,
dude, full Karen though.
Full Karen mode, yo, straight up.
I'm not in the game of telling other people, of imposing my will on other people that I don't know at all. What if you have there's medical conditions where you can't wear a mask? What if you had that medical condition?
I'm not gonna like breathe in.
Just what if though?
Yeah, right.
And she'd feel like a dick,
right? And
she wouldn't know because she doesn't fucking know you, dude. Yeah. It's like, dude, it's just crazy. Yeah, no, you're not. No, that's perfectly logical. I mean, like, I haven't worn one since the day that they lifted it, like a while ago.
I never wore it over my nose. I always wore it under my nose. And if someone came up to me and was like, wear your mask the right way, like, there is no fucking right way. I didn't say that. No, but
if it's a Karen telling me, like, then no. But, like, if it's like I'm saying, if I'm in your business establishment,
I'll wear it.
Like, just I'll do what you
let me
need
just
to do.
Eat real quick. I'll just be drinking water, and like I'll just keep sipping the water.
In Vermont, bro, there was crazy about that. They would make you I didn't go there. I just like heard this is anecdotal, but they would if you weren't eating or drinking actively, they'd tell you to put like, what are we doing?
So you'd
What
have
are
to
we
take
doing? Yeah, dude,
take like a bite, put it back on.
dude,
Oh my gosh.
yo, but what are we doing? Just no logic.
No
Like
logic.
the lady, she's getting close to you. Like, no logic. This is not about logic, though. It's
No.
been obvious.
Yeah.
It's about ideology. It's about sides. It's about thought police. It's about asshole police. Sean, you're an asshole.
Yeah.
Wear your fucking mask. You're an asshole.
Yep.
Sean. I'm not.
Right.
Because I'm telling you what to do, and what I didn't know. I know what's best for you, Sean.
Right.
Do I know you? No idea who you are.
Let me ask, what
But
do
I
you
know
eat on
what's-
a daily basis?
Well, that's it.
Like,
Dude, but-
why is it selfish that I'm not wearing a mask, but it's not selfish that you're not doing everything that you need to do to optimize your health?
Well, because wearing a mask is the external display of saying I'm not an asshole, and
Right.
you don't know what I eat because you're not in my house. You can't see me when I'm doing.
Right.
You know, it's like it's only when it's convenient.
Yep.
You know,
100%.
it's fucking madness, dude.
It's so insane. I never knew that the world would get to a point like this, man.
It's interesting that this is where we are in life when this is happening too, where it's like
Right.
we're in a best place to start questioning everything. It's like not good for the systems, you
Right.
know, because we're like, oh, we like just gained consciousness
Right.
as younger people, you
Yep.
know, and just kind of realized what was happening. And yeah, it's interesting, man. It's been a wild ride for sure. I don't know if we're fully all the way out of it, but I think I mean, I learned a lot during this time. I feel like we learned a lot about human behavior too, and what people are willing and not willing to do, man. Those truckers, man, did not expect that to happen.
Nah.
And I'm very happy that it did.
I'm proud of them for sure. Do you see what's going on with like the police in Canada? Just arresting people for like peacefully protesting and all this stuff.
Oh, you're not
It's
allowed to
like-
protest.
You're not even allowed to give people gallons of gas. You're not allowed to give like truckers water.
Oh no, they freeze
Like-
their bank accounts.
It's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
And like they were releasing people's names who donated to the GoFundMe. I saw this funny ass meme, and it was like, you're gonna release those names, but you're not gonna release the names related to Ghislaine Maxwell, and like all this shit. It's just like, yo, there's gonna be a revolution, bro. Like if it keeps up this way, like the revolution will not be televised, and it's not because they don't show the people across the world constantly protesting or gathering to like kind of fight like this totalitarian like stance that governments are taking. So it's like it's really interesting, bro.
I think the American populace kind of looked at even the truckers that went, like at least I go, oh, that actually might be why that they're lifting. Obviously, people are saying they're lifting all these mandates because of like elections and politics.
I think that has a lot to do with it.
I think
as
it
well.
has a lot to do with it. But when you look at Canadians, you're like, Canadians would never revolt.
Right.
And then you see like massive amounts of millions of truckers or hundreds of thousands or whatever it is, and then you're like, oh, dude, it'd be way worse here.
Yeah.
Like if they were really like, and it, you know, maybe it could have went to that point and it didn't, but I feel like I know we have more guns for sure, and I don't even own a gun. I'm just saying, like
Should get one.
Yeah, it will
one.
get to a boiling point for sure, and well, that's the conversation because it's like we should get one, but we got to make sure we take firearms training courses, and we have to, and that's a lot of issue where there's. So I saw Tret, see if you can find this picture. It's a picture in a Wyoming. Look up Wyoming school target practice.
Really?
They in the gymnasium. There's kids with guns doing target practice. I don't know if it's a BB gun or a real gun in the gymnasium.
Wow.
And now you might Tim Kennedy. If you find the Tim Kennedy, if you go on Tim Kennedy post, okay, that's the picture. I'll overlay it. For people listening, there's a picture of high school kids in a gymnasium, the same one that you had at your high school, where they have actual target practice in the gymnasium. They're laying down. And now, if you could find if you go on Tim Kennedy Instagram,
That's crazy.
and find that same picture on his Instagram and read the caption. So this is crazy. So we're gonna have it pulled up in a second. He has the numbers of the amount of school shootings in California, the amount of guns in California, and then the amount of school shootings, and obviously, people, Wyoming's very different. But just the numbers, okay? The amount of children that get trained with firearms, once another thing that this mainstream perspective is, there's no nuance. Like, there needs to be nuance. There can't be blanket prescriptions for all people.
Right.
It's just obvious. And yeah, see if you can find that Tim Kennedy one. But it's just, they're just, it can't, dude. It just can't be these blanket things for the whole entire population. None of that makes sense.
I know. Like a one size fits all type of thing. It's not black and white. There's a very big gray area.
And they tried to tie it back, to tie back to our last episode with the food pyramid. That's what they tried to do.
Yeah, straight up.
And look how that worked out.
All right.
Childhood obesity, I'm not even going to have that stat pulled up. I don't even want to see it.
Right. Look at Texas, though. Like, you can shoot somebody who's on your property and you tell them to get off and they don't. There's not as much shootings and crime there because everyone knows, like, I better not fuck around. Do you know what I mean? Maybe I don't know the exact numbers and statistics. I'm not going to sit here and act like I do. But I hear way less stories about, like, that as opposed to, other areas, like, in cities and things like that. I'm also trying to, like, walk on eggshells with the things that I say. I don't want to piss a lot of people off and have people kind of just, like, cherry pick certain things that I say. Oh, this person is this and this. Yeah, man, it's crazy.
It's not. It's 100%. Like, once again, yeah. It's not black and white.
It's not.
It is individualized. And when I know that people are, I think open care is so super dumb. I think having literally like people being able to see. Okay. Let's see if I'm not going to be able to read this and be in the microphone. Let me sit here.
Do you want me to read it for you?
Yeah. Do you mind, Tret?
Yeah. Do you want me to read his comment? His like.
Yeah. Read the caption.
So this is a photo of target practice in a school in Wyoming. Montana has the highest percentage of gun ownership in America per capita with 66.3%, followed by Wyoming with 66.2%. Both states have an in-school youth firearms safety course. Montana and Wyoming both have had a total of 8 and 2 total school shootings, respectively, since 1970, according to the World Population Review, compared to California, which has had 164. California has the strictest gun laws in the nation, next to New York, which is also in the top 10 in the nation for gun violence and school shootings. I would like to fix their egregious prone shooting positions.
when there's a zombie apocalypse, I'm going to Iowa and Wyoming because that's going to be the safest place, bro.
Yeah.
Everybody knows how to shoot.
Yeah, but that's really... And by the way, New York, California, super populated. Not all of it. Honestly, I'm wrong. California's not super populated. Fact. New York City is super... New York's not super populated. Fact. I'm actually wrong on both of those because California, there's New York State, and then there's everywhere outside of California that's not San Diego or LA.
Yeah.
So most of California is actually a similar... It's not the same as Wyoming or Montana that don't have... Listen, Montana has Bozeman. Wyoming has Jackson Hole. They're not cities. They're maybe small cities. Obviously, there's differences here, but education is the thing. Like, you have to... The worst thing that you can have is... The best thing that you can do is teach people how to shoot a gun. Mm-hmm. If you want to have safety.
100%.
Yeah. Like
it's almost like the thing, like, if you make it illegal, people want to do it. People want to, like...
It's like us when we smoke weed when you're in high school. It's like you're told not to do it, so you wanted to do it.
You're told not to do something, you want to do it. Yeah. That's just like human nature. Like, oh, why not? Like, what am I missing out? I need to at least try it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like, it falls along that kind of, like, concept of just wanting to do, like, you get like a fucking rush just like of doing something you shouldn't be doing, like, you know what I mean? Fucking in a restaurant, like fucking a bitch in a restaurant, you're just like, yo, it's like, it's just like, wow, this is so exciting. Like, you just fucking a bitch the same way you've done many times before, but
it's
the thrill environment. Exactly, you know what I mean? This is something that is frowned upon. I shouldn't be doing. So
it's funny, man. Yo, and I don't know, you're interesting to me, Sean, because I feel like you're like, you really try to be so dialed with your kind of like lifestyle, like you say, you just so dialed in. Like you said, you had to drink, like, I don't know when that was, Super Bowl or something like that, but like, you don't really, like, you're not like addicted to these kind of vices, like that's kind of what we were saying. If you want to go to a deeper level, it's like, it's kind of a vice, people like vices, makes them feel good, but it's kind of a temporary feeling. So
I was for a little bit to weed. I used to smoke a lot. It got to the point where it's like, my dad told me, he's like, you can't even go for a drive without smoking. He's like, you can't even go to the store without smoking. Like, you can't even do this without... He said that a couple times, and I was just like, this is stupid. Like, I shouldn't let something control me like this. You know what I mean? It's cool, but you have to have control over it. You have to have the control over the substance. But yeah, at one point, like, it started because of boredom, honestly. You know what I mean? Just like being bored, just like not having... I shouldn't even say bored. It started from not being as disciplined. I have to be disciplined, and I have to have like a structure in my life, or else I'm gonna get so thrown off, and I'm gonna start doing things that do not better me, and things that just aren't serving my best self and my best interest. And to me, it was like, oh, no one's ever died from smoking pot, or like smoking weed isn't as bad as drinking alcohol. I could be drinking, I could be doing this. I would always rationalize it to myself, and I'm like, this is just making excuses. And what really pushed it over the edge for me was having COVID. So I was doing some research, and basically having COVID is as similar to breaking a bone in your body. That's the damage it does to your lungs. You take like 3 to 12 months to actually recover. And there's tons of people who are getting like blood clots in their lungs, things like that. And I was just like, I need to heal my lungs first and foremost. Like, I shouldn't be smoking at all. Yeah, man, it's just, I felt it when I was working out. I couldn't breathe. Like, I was literally like, it was the most uncomfortable feeling, like when you're out of breath and you need air and you're trying to breathe and you can't fucking breathe. It's like you'll do anything just to be able to breathe normal again. And so those first few weeks of training after COVID were brutal, bro. It was agonizing. Just like, you get out of breath, you know what's coming, and it's like you can't breathe, and it's just like you're not getting that same lung capacity as you once had. And it took me a while. I finally got over that. But I'd say like 4 or 5 weeks of just like rigorous training. But then I was talking to my cardiologist. He's like, you got to be careful. There's a lot of people who had COVID, started to rigorously train again, and went into like cardiac arrest. Unbelievable, because they developed these blood clots within their lungs. But clotting, I would just have tons of anticoagulants, things that like prevent that clotting, ginger, turmeric, cinnamon. So I felt safe. You know what I mean? Like, if this is something I have to worry about, like clots, I know how to kind of put something natural in my body to get rid of that like worry. You know what I mean? So really interesting. But that kind of drove me away from getting away from it. But again, it's just not having that structure. You have to have structure. I knew from a young age, like, I need football and all these things in my life, because I would not do anything to let me stray off from not serving myself to be the best football player that I could be. I remember I got to college and like I slept with this girl, bro. It was like 4:30 in the morning. My alarm went off. She's like, where are you going? And I wouldn't drink for the first like month or two when I went out to college. My cousin's like, yo, you need to loosen up. I'm like, bro, I'm having a great time without drinking. I don't need to. And I woke up at 4. She's like, what are you doing? I was like, I'm going to work out. She's like, what? She's like, yeah. And I did it. And slowly but surely, like, I started drinking. I knew that if I didn't have football in my life, I'm going to spiral downhill. And slowly but surely I did. Started drinking, started trying like a bunch of different shit. And I just remember waking up one day like, dude, I have no progression. Like, I'm having fun, getting girls. I did all the things that like I thought would make me feel good. And like, I have no progression. What did I do? It's like the last year is like almost wasted, like, except for experience. And like, you know, that's how I kind of rationalize it. I got a ton of experience. I've developed social skills. So it wasn't like a waste, but in terms of just like progressing my life and just like being successful, it started to make me feel like it was taking away from it. So that's where you have to shift your focus. And like, I'm a very all in or all out type person. So that's just my personality. I have to be fully committed, because the one time that I skip a workout or I cheat on my diet, it's just gonna happen more and more. It's like taking a brick out from a home when I skip something, and then another brick out, and soon the whole freaking like foundation just comes crumbling down. So I need to be super strict with what I do, and if I'm not, I don't see another way for myself. You know, everybody's different, I get it, but that's what makes me the way I am, honestly.
Fantastic way to live your life, Sean. Thanks for being here today.
Yeah, bro, absolutely. Thanks for having me, as always. Great energy, guys. Appreciate it.
Yeah, man. Always a powerful conversation with you, man. I feel like it's a good refresher for me personally, you know, as well, and just to see you, man, but also to have these types of conversations. I think it adds to it makes us even better, you know, just to be able to kind of talk about these things openly, and for you to, you know, open up about the way that you go about your life and the way that you help other people do it. I appreciate it. I've learned a lot from you, and thanks again for being here, man.
Appreciate you, brother. My pleasure.
So let people know, I think they know from the last one, but if they haven't caught you on the last episode, where they can find you on Instagram, etc.
Yeah, at Sean Nastelon Fitness on Instagram. I don't really use TikTok or Facebook or any other platform too much. But at Sean Nastelon Fitness, if I do use any other social media platform, I'll definitely post it on Instagram. So keep up with me there, and I appreciate all the support, the love, and positivity that I'm receiving from you guys and everybody else out there. One love.
Make some more clips out of it too, right?
Yes, sir. Absolutely. Everybody was complimenting that. I can't wait to show y'all.
Sounds good, brother. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for tuning into this episode of BopCast. Really do appreciate it. We do have something for you in the outro there, so do not go anywhere if you are listening. And as you know, we are on all platforms, even the ones nobody uses. Sean, thank you for being here, brother.
Appreciate you, brother. My pleasure,
man.
Yes, sir.
All right, guys. Think it was going to be, fast forward 40 episodes or whatever.
This is actually so funny to think of it, right? So when I started off, obviously you had fuck all idea what you're going to do. I was going to do like a business podcast. Like business is like the Atlantic Ocean, just like so broad, right? When I had these people on my podcast that were like startup founders, they were very successful. That made me want to